Under the watchful eye of the Seattle Space Needle, our two final college teams, UT Arlington and Arizona State, have come to the CenturyLink Field Event Center to decide who will be crowned champions of the Heroes of the Dorm.
These games have been fantastic. Oh my gosh. It's getting low. I don't think they're going to be able to save it in time.
Oh, and Melkor taking a lot of damage here, but Zero goes down.
This is
down. It looks like they may have enough damage to actually end this game right now.
They are your heroes of the Dorm.
Hello and welcome to the grand finals of the Heroes of the Dorm. I'm Nick Plott, also known by my gamer tag as Tasteless, and standing next to me is Dan Artosis Timkoski, JC Gillyweed Gluck, and Tim Trixler Frazier. We're here live at the massive Century Field Event Center where the two final teams, UT Arlington and Arizona State, will be battling it out in Blizzard Entertainment's team brawler, Heroes of the Storm. Guys, it's so good to be down here with you.
Oh man, I am so excited for today. Yesterday we saw great strategies, great play from every team, but I think today the games are going to be so close, neck and neck. It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be so much fun, Artosis. Just the fact that we are now down to our final two teams. It's going to be so awesome, Tim.
We're finally here, and I can't think of another crowd that I would love to share with. Another group of great people, and of course an amazing network at home, ESPN2. I can't wait. Such great games coming.
It's going to be a fantastic night. Now, Artosis, we're in the final chapter of this story. Why don't we talk about how we got to this point?
Sure thing, Tasteless. This tournament began with nearly 400 teams from colleges across North America. Each team is made up of 5 college students who have fought their way through the championship brackets in hopes of becoming Heroes of the Dorm Grand Champions. And of course, let's remember, this is all to pay for their college, that full college tuition. It's a huge prize. Now, Trixler, Gilly, how did we get here with these two final teams?
We started over a month ago with nearly 500 teams signing up for our online qualifiers, trying to get into our top 64 bracket, our version of the March Madness. From there, our teams competed all the way down week after week to get here, the Heroic Four, where we started last night.
Here we are in the Heroic Four, and our first semifinal match of yesterday was UT Arlington versus Tennessee. UT Arlington pulling out some crazy unique strats, maybe even some fan favorite strats with Artanis, things like Nidus Network, and even a no warrior composition. On the other side, Arizona State looking so dominant over UConn with another 2-0 victory, just showing super strong and confident play throughout. And Tasteless, that leads us to today's grand finals match between UT Arlington and Arizona State.
It's unreal, we're finally here. With the college tuition at stake, competition has been tough. And after yesterday's matches, Heroes of the Storm has been getting a lot of attention. But many of you watching at home may not be familiar with the game Heroes of the Storm. If that's the case, don't worry, we've got you covered. Why don't we go ahead and take a closer look at what Heroes of the Storm is all about.
Players can choose from a variety of Blizzard heroes, each with unique strengths and weaknesses, to create 5-player team compositions that support versatile strategies. These strategies are then put to the test on a diverse set of battlegrounds, each with their own legendary objectives. Control a powerful Dragon Knight, or tip the balance in an eternal conflict between immortals. Each battleground is different and presents a new environment for competition. However, the criteria for victory is constant. Destroy the opposing team's core. Heroes will grow in power and talent over the course of a single game as they take out minions, enemy fortifications, and the opposing team's heroes. How your team chooses to individually talent their heroes will fuel the strategy you use to address the battleground objective while working to counter the opposing team. Your effectiveness at team coordination and collaborative play will be the ultimate key to victory.
All right, now that we've got you all caught up, let's go to our friend and esports correspondent, Anna Prosser Robinson, over on the stage. Anna, what's going on?
Thank you so much, Tasteless. I didn't think it was possible to have more energy in CenturyLink Field Event Center than we did yesterday, but as you can see, this crowd is rabid. Their intensity is electrifying. As we say, I have nerd chills all over my body. And now it's time to get into the main event, what they have all been waiting for, and that is our grand finals. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to our two teams. First, the #1 seed from the South. It is UT Arlington. Introducing our players, DXN, Team Captain Huge, Palladius, Cure, and Mist. Make some noise for UT Arlington! And attempting to take it all away from them, the #1 seed from the West, Arizona State! And here they are, Shocked, Akaface, Captain Michael Udall, Bam, and Snickers. Let's give it up for Arizona State. We asked UT Arlington what they thought about playing Arizona State in the finals. Let's check out what they had to say.
We're a bunch of college students. We're here to just, have fun, play, and try and do the best we can to fight for that college tuition.
I'm really excited about walking out on that stage and seeing that crowd, and whoa, this is insane, man.
I think there's a little bit of a rivalry between us and Arizona State University. They're really, really cocky, and a lot of them tend to be a bit on the competitive side. So there's a little bit back and forth between us, putting some fuel to the flame on trying to beat them.
I think we have a really good shot. I think we have better teamwork than they do. They might be mechanically skilled, but I believe we got this.
So last year, we lost to Arizona State. We decided we wanted to keep playing, slowly climbed our way up to the top. We also have the largest variety of heroes that we can choose from. So we have the element of surprise there that no matter what, we're a wild card and people won't be prepared for it.
If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. And we don't just wanna try to go out top 4, we wanna win the whole thing.
Oh man, that rivalry. This is going to be fantastic. Artosis, what do you think about what you saw there?
Well, I think that they're right. These guys have a huge range of characters that they play, have the strategies down. They've improved a lot over the year, and they seem cautiously optimistic.
That's what I love about UT Arlington is that they have an identity. They understand who they are. They're coming to this tournament with crazy strats and things that we love to watch, and they're playing that up. I love UT Arlington and the way they approach the game.
It's been very great to see how they've approached it, and it is going to be a rivalry, but they're up against Arizona State, and Arizona has been so amazingly strong throughout, very mechanically skilled. And we know, since they did take second place last year, that there are a lot of people voting to think that they will take the entire thing. As we can look at our bracket challenge, everybody who filled out the bracket challenge for the entire round of 64, Arizona State is the most predicted team to win with 9.5%. In rank 7 even is UT Arlington, so they even believe that UConn would win over UT Arlington.
Yeah, really interesting to see that. Of course, both of them being #1 seeds. But it felt to me like UT Arlington's voter base was like a little bit low for how good they really are.
Yeah, they were a little bit unknown because last year they were taken out by Arizona State, but this year you can see that growth, and we should have actually had more voters for them. But hey, they're here to show everyone that they were wrong about the votes, and let's see if they can take the entire tournament.
All right, we are very close to starting this match. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be game 1, so stay tuned with us here on ESPN2.
Overwatch. Play the free open beta on PC and console May 5th. Rated T for teen.
Where am I?
You're wanted for treason.
I've always been loyal to the Dominion.
Rogue Agent, send reinforcements immediately. All hands to battle stations.
Our scans show that your memories have been altered.
The second Omnic crisis continues to devastate Russia. The conflict between Omnics and humans has now claimed over 15,000 lives. So far,
I miss the old days.
Shield generator test. Ready to...
I think you have something that belongs to me. Come on, buddy. It's time I showed you something.
I'm detecting intruders.
Talon, Athena, cue the lights. Overwatch. Watch the full animated short at playoverwatch.com. Rated T for teen.
Now I've got a tale to tell you of the ones from long ago. There's an evil that's been dreaming, but now it's softly screaming. From the darkness, their power will grow. It's the whispers of the old gods.
It has begun. War is coming.
If we do not unite, our world will perish.
You might want to head home, big man.
Well then, we better get going. We'll protect the kingdom. With this.
Warcraft, rated PG-13.
Heroes of the Dorm is brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Tournament prizing provided in part by Corsair, Gigabyte, Intel, and Rosewell. This weekend only, play all heroes free, rated T.
We are back at the CenturyLink Field Event Center here in Seattle for the Heroes of the Dorm Grand Finals. Our two teams are just about to start their draft. But before we go and get to that, we already heard from UT Arlington. Let's go ahead and see what Arizona State thinks about being here.
I know that this team has what it takes, and our goal and our mindset since day one has been we're going to be the team that wins.
We kind of assumed we were going to get here because we're just a really good group of players.
Player for player, we're definitely the best team.
We think we're better, so we just have to show up.
I'm probably like one of the hardest working people in the game. I play probably 10 hours a day average. They're not going to see a lot of the little things coming. They don't know like perfect timings, perfect drafts. I don't know.
For me, it really is winning. Like, I am such a competitor. I hate to lose.
And this is our time. This is our time to shine.
Confetti cannon goes off and I don't walk backstage. I want to run up to the front, you know, do a dab or something, or like be so happy.
It's going to be life-changing if we win it all, so.
Bodying UTA, that's what I'm excited about. And we're just going to sweep them.
Anything but first is a disappointment.
Wow, you know what? I have been in esports for a long time. And it is very rare that you see any team, any player as confident as it seems all five of these guys are.
Yeah, they're ready to win, and they're showing it. They've been talking about it throughout the entire weekend, but today it's time to show up. We are finally in the grand finals, and they believe they can do it.
We kind of assumed we'd be here. Like, hello?
Yeah, right?
Really confident.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think that maybe their confidence is too much? Is this going to hurt them at all going forward?
I don't know. I thought that would be an issue yesterday during the semifinals, but when they came out and they were on fire and they 2-0'd UConn, really, they are keeping that in check. I think they're doing a really good job of kind of peacocking a little bit, showing off their confidence, but they understand when they're in game, they hold it back and they play appropriately.
I would say, though, that there were some times when they could have been punished and UConn just didn't quite do it. I'm not sure that they'll be so lucky with UT Arlington.
All right, well, speaking of UT Arlington, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at these two teams. I mean, both of them #1 seeds, both of them looking fantastic. And if we look a little bit closer at UT Arlington now, I mean, obviously we've talked about some of these players before, but today I really want to focus on the team captains as they are so important going forward. And of course here our team captain is Yuge. Gilly, tell us something we don't know about Yuge, something that isn't the Yuge.
Oh man, that joke, I'm loving
the dad jokes from Artosius.
Well, Yuge is the team captain and the leader of UT Arlington specifically. And Yuge is also the shot caller, but Yuge kind of has this deal with Cladius where if at any time Cladius feels like he wants to call something different, he can jump in and the team automatically knows that he has priority in his calls. And that takes a lot of trust between these two members for him to say, okay, yes, that's fine, that's a better call, and to just go ahead and go with that for Cladius.
It seems like he's a really mature and humble captain if there's a player on the team that can override him but isn't usually the shot caller. So that's like really interesting to me. But let's look closer at Arizona State. And of course, their main player here, their main captain, who is Michael Udall. Trixler, tell me about this guy.
Michael Udall is the heart and soul of Arizona State. He reflects what this team is all about: mechanical skill, swagger, and a drive to win the entire tournament. Michael Udall is in every single team fight and helping out his team. What I love about Udall, though, is that his entire team respects him and listens to him. When he makes a shot call, they follow up. But earlier, I went to the practice and watched these guys play and listened to their comms a little bit. Akaface mentioned he was going to go to a different lane, and Soka goes, no, you're going to come in here and we're going to team fight right now. Akaface immediately responded, and they won that team fight sweepingly.
Arizona State also, I believe, has sort of a dual shot calling set up with them too. Is that correct?
Yeah, Shot listens in a little bit and helps out with his expertise, but when it comes down to it, Udall is making the plays.
It sounds like we have when we look at these two captains against each other, right? It's Yuge, who is going to be the captain who's a little bit humble and will listen to another teammate to just call over him, whereas Michael Udall, unless Shot says something like really crazy in there, he is going to be the absolute final word. So between these two captains, you guys got a favorite?
I would give it a little bit of an edge to Yuge here, and I'll tell you why. Yuge and Cladius have been playing together for an entire year, since Heroes of the Dorm last year, so they have honed that dual shot calling together. What about you, Tim?
Well, in terms of teams, you guys know that I've been voting for Arizona State all the way, but in terms of team captains, I have nothing but equal respect. Both these are great, and they both coach their lineups in a great way, so I'm gonna be 50-50 on both.
All right, it's time to announce our first battleground. It's going to be Blackhearts Bay. And this is a fantastic map. Kelly, why don't you tell us what this map is all about?
Sure thing, Tasteless. Blackhearts Bay is another 3-lane battleground where minions, mercenaries, and heroes can find themselves pushing down the structures of their opponents. There are 6 mercenary camps, so there's quite a lot on this battleground, and even also 4 extra ones. All of these mercenary camps drop coins that you can collect, as well as doubloon chests that will periodically spawn throughout the game. Collect these coins and turn them into Blackheart, and he will bombard your opponent's structures with cannonballs. And you can even use this and even to take out the core of your opponents to win the game.
All right. One of my favorite maps, by the way, personally. We're going to go into the draft mode now. Now, obviously, it's not just about the maps. You have to pick your heroes. So, Trixler, explain to our viewers who may not be gamers or may not be familiar with Heroes of the Storm what the draft really is.
Sure, the draft, one of my favorite parts about Heroes of the Storm, because that's where a lot of the strategy and depth comes in. So we start out with both teams selecting one hero to ban out. That hero will be unable to be picked out throughout this entire game. From there, they start building their team compositions of 5 mans. You'll see red team pick up 1 hero here. Blue team with the snake draft will go ahead and pick up 2 on the other side. And this is where we start to see the teams start coming together. You're going to start really seeing a lot of the strategy come in. Red will follow up with 2 more of their own heroes. But then we get to the middle of the entire draft, where we see a 3rd and 4th ban. If you see a particular strategy that could pop up for a team, you'll see team captains decide, hey, maybe I'll ban out Zeratul, like in this example, which prevents my opponent from running that particular strategy. Then from there, the draft will continue to follow on. A 3rd and 4th hero for blue, and for red, a 4th and 5th hero. Of course, blue will finally pick up their 5th hero, which could be a crazy hero at this point, as you usually have a sneak in the last pick. But remember, whenever a hero is picked, there are no copycats. You have to run with that one hero, and the opposing team will not be able to choose it.
You know, that's a very important point that you bring up there, Trixler. The hero can only be picked up one time. So the most important, the best heroes for each battleground should go first in that draft, which, by the way, I think we have ready for game number 1. So let's go ahead, get into that draft, and see what these teams are going to go for.
All right, remember the first stage of the drafting phase will be the bans. The first ban is Falstad. UT Arlington has done their homework.
Yeah, Falstad was an integral part to Arizona State's roundup all the way here, but especially in their semifinal match versus UConn. Their ability to constantly fly around the battleground and catch people out of position really helped them be able to win those games.
Well, we just saw the counter ban there on Zagara,
Right.
so I'm thinking that they're trying to deny this great lane pusher from Mist. He's been fantastic on the hero.
Gotta agree. Mist has played Zagara a total of 7 times throughout this entire tournament. So take away that comfort pick. Both teams picking up great bans at the very early stage of the game.
Zool is grabbed for UT Arlington, and Arizona State following up with Illidan.
Oh.
Illidan was banned a lot versus them, and for good reason, because of usually it's Michael Udall on him, and here you can see Illidan. He wants to keep brawling, he wants to keep fighting.
He's a flashy hero, and he's one that Illidan pulls off that Michael Udall pulls off very, very well. So there he is, dive, sweeping strikes, and evasion. You're most likely going to see the Hunt here, as the Hunt is a large global heroic ability that allows you to dive in on an opposing member. But yeah, a first pick here for Arizona State is a bit crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's such an integral hero to your lineup. If Illidan is in the game, just watch him, because he is going to decide everything.
And a lot of times when you draft heroes after the Illidan or during and when you know you want to go for an Illidan, you have to set up a good support structure around him. Tassadar is the start of that, adding shields to help Illidan and make sure that he can keep in the fight as long as possible.
Well, UT Arlington will be picking their own heroes here on the left, and you gotta start thinking about how are we gonna actually deal with Illidan and his dives. Form of crowd control can be great. They actually go right into Brightwing. This is a good pickup for 2 reasons. One, it's a great pickup, because one, Gilly loves him, but 2, because Brightwing can actually deal with Illidan, and also you take that away from Akaface.
Right, that's Akaface's favorite hero, but it's also Yuju's, which maybe people don't realize as much since he does play so much Rhaegar, but he does really enjoy it. That's stealing Brightwing away from Akaface and Johanna away from Snickers. UT Arlington are bringing it to Arizona State.
Wow, there are a couple of thieves over here at UT Arlington right now. I mean, those are some really great picks, of course. Arizona State loves those heroes, so to deny that is awesome.
Azmodan and Abathur are the 2 heroes going to be banned. Abathur makes sense because he combos very well with Illidan, but Azmodan's a hero that we haven't seen banned out often. He recently got a few busts in the metagame, and he's really good with Johanna, so seeing those 2 not being comboed together, it's a great ban there for Arizona State.
This is the thing, when you're up against UT Arlington, you have to consider every single hero that could be available. It's not always like that when you're playing against other teams, but UT Arlington showing some very crazy, very unique strategies yesterday has to keep Arizona State on their toes in this draft.
All right, well, it looks like Arizona State has picked up Li Ming and Rhaegar, 2 of the most popular heroes in this game right now. Li Ming dealing out tons of damage from very far away, and Rhaegar, one of those support heroes. He's going to be focusing on healing up Illidan as much as possible.
I really like Illidan and Li Ming being on the same team because they do a really good job of distracting the opposing heroes. But Zeratul will be the pickup here, and Gladius plays a mean Zeratul.
It's his favorite hero. I told you before, they say if we get Zeratul, if they give this to us, they aren't doing their homework. And Sylvanas, too, is going to be here to help with the lane presence, to help push those lanes, and maybe even help the team take out more structures faster.
Yeah, really interesting to see Sylvanas picked up last there. I love these styles from UT Arlington. Now, only 1 pick left for Arizona State. What will they finish off with? It looks like Muradin.
All right, strong warrior and a hero that Snickers plays very well. A great roundup here for the roster. I do want to talk about Sylvanas real quick. She has a heroic called Mind Control, which is really good against Illidan if he overcommits too much. So now Michael Udall will have to play a little bit more reserved than he normally would.
Okay, so they've made their team lineups now. Obviously, a lot of counter picking going on there as they're selecting the heroes. Now that we have the makeup of the 2 teams, do you guys think on paper there's any advantage here?
I kind of like where UT Arlington has gone. Like the composition is very scary for Arizona State, but I feel like for the map itself, I really do like what UT Arlington has done.
Yeah, I think it comes down to those team fights. If they can keep Illidan alive, there's a lot of things that UT Arlington can do to stop him. They've got a polymorph for Brightwing is going to be really key for them, but if they can keep him alive, he's just going to be disrupting so much in the fights, and it allows Li Ming to come in and throw all of her damage down. It's kind of a double threat comp for them. So I'm liking that composition.
Yeah, and I really like about UT Arlington is they've picked a composition that's strong, but they've also picked a composition that takes away heroes from Arizona State. They've been playing comfort picks throughout this entire tournament, and now they're forced to go on different heroes. Now, of course, I have faith in Arizona State. Of course, they can play different heroes, but they will have to change their strategy up a little bit here.
You know, I also want to go ahead and point out, of course, that we do have Zool on UT Arlington's side, and that's a hero we didn't get to talk about too much during the draft, but one of the strongest lane pushers in the entire game, and I think a hero that's going to do very well against Illidan.
Yeah, he has the attack speed that slows down the actual auto attacks that Illidan does, and that's what Illidan does so darn well. He's able to get into a fight and apply auto attacks, and Zool slowing that down is a great pickup.
Our game is loaded up. We are ready. This is game number 1. UT Arlington versus Arizona State in the Heroes of the Dorm Grand Finals.
On the left side of the map, in the blue, we have Gladius on Zeratul, Yuge on Brightwing, Mist on Zool, DXN on Sylvanas, and Cure on Johanna. Make some noise for UT Arlington! And of course, their opponents on the right in the red, we have Michael Udall on Illidan, Snickers on Muradin, Fam on Li Ming, Shaw on Tasdar, and Akaface on Rhaegar. Make some noise for Arizona State!
All right, so we already see right now Arizona State hiding in the smoke here. When you're in these smoke areas, your opponents can't see you, so they're both actually trying to set up traps for a possible ambush. Let's see who's going to be the first to move. And it does look like after giving up there, they're going to head northbound, Arizona State will, while UT Arlington's still hiding at the bottom.
Well, guys, it looks like we're going to have a little bit before some action, but get out there, get on Twitter, and hashtag Heroes of the Dorm. Let us know who you think is going to win. Either hashtag Vote UTA or hashtag Vote ASU.
I like that strategy from Arizona State because a lot of times when you have a Sylvanas, you want to try to push in somewhere, and we're seeing them do this now. Her trait allows you to shut down structures, and they're trying to even just take out towers where they can, get some extra experience, and make it so they don't have to turn in as many doubloons to take out their structures. And they tried to stop it by showing up here, but they waited out and now are able to get one tower down.
All right, well, it looks like the gold chests have opened up here, Tasteless, and they are going to try to grab as many coins as they can.
Okay, so remember, in this game, Heroes of the Storm, each map has different objectives. So on this objective, you want to try to acquire as many coins. You deposit that by the pirate ship, just to the lower middle section of the map. If you pay the proper amount of coins, which is very little at the start, it will shell your opponent's defenses. Of course, when you destroy your opponent's defenses, you have a much easier push lane that ultimately gives you access to their core. And of course, the win conditions of the game are destroy the opponent's core.
Great points that you make, Tasteless, and especially if you can kill your opponents who are holding those coins, they will drop on the ground, and that gives you the potential to steal them away from your opponents. Both teams for now have 5, as you can see in the bottom. They're holding them, and they're looking to get 10 for that first turn-in.
That's right, and you know, the place that we're going to see the most battles is at that turn-in because you're trying to deny your opponents, you're trying to kill them off and take their coins.
Now, they always have Brightwing on UT Arlington's side. She can always sit in a lane and teleport into her teammates if they need help, and that's a really big win for them. But you can already see Michael Udall on Illidan. He's a great hero who can go after these mercenary camps by himself.
Now, when you beat those mercenary camps like we just saw there, that allows them to then push in that lane. That causes more tasks for the opposing team to juggle. And if you have too many mercenary camps pushing in too many lanes, a lot of times the team can't keep up and ultimately gets run over.
UT Arlington actually got the first kill. They're taking out Li Ming, first blood, and they're still going for these strong pushes in the lanes.
Yeah, they are dealing a lot of damage up here on the top. It looks like the help of DXN Sylvanas really doing a great job. Don't forget, Sylvanas, if she attacks minions or structures or mercenaries other than the boss, she will shut them down. They won't be able to attack back.
Right, and any damage that you can put onto structures yourselves just makes it so in the later game you don't have to turn in as many coins. Otherwise, you get to a point where you're trying to turn in like 22, 24, and that becomes really hard when your opponents are trying to stop you and steal them away.
Right now, we do have a little bit of a battle down in that bottom lane. Of course, Michael Udall continuing to go around the map and pick up as many mercenaries to help him fight as is possible. In fact, quite a strong push down here.
Yeah, he's certainly doing a good job keeping UT Arlington pretty busy here. We're still waiting to see when the next turn-in is going to be coming up here, but oftentimes this area right over here that we see on screen now is a great place to try to ambush them as they attempt to deposit that in.
That's a very good point. We do have Michael Udall actually hiding right there over that vent. That smoky area is somewhere where you cannot see into if you're on the opponent's team. So just trying to catch anyone off guard that might be walking through the wrong place.
The rotations from UT Arlington have been very good to just try to take out the structures, and that means we see a level lead for them as they've hit level 7 ahead of Arizona, but they are starting to get the turn-in.
And if they get this turn-in, that is going to activate that. And it looks like it's been activated, so the defenses are going to be shelled. Meanwhile, UT Arlington coming in time to try to punish that. And what looks like so far a failed surround here. But wait, Arizona State's still on the run.
Yeah, dealing a lot of damage right now, too. Michael Udall taking a lot of damage. He blows up in a matter of seconds. And still, UT Arlington chasing him down. Akaface dies as well. 2 big kills there for UT Arlington.
Very nicely done. They didn't do the map objective, so their bases are still being hit by the ship. However, taking out those 2 players is definitely a thorn in the paw of Arizona State.
Yeah, the surround from them was very good to come around from the side, especially with Johanna, who was able to pull the opponents in. So once they saw her, they tried to get away, but from that point, she was pulling them back to the rest of the teammates. And Cladius, already we're seeing that aggression from Zeratul, and that will only continue as he gets stronger.
Really fantastic play out of UT Arlington so far, but it's a pretty close game because of that turn-in by Arizona State.
It looks like we have chests now spawning on the map. That's a good way to grab some more coins. And there is oftentimes skirmishes right over this here. Looks like Cladius is in a little bit of trouble. Narrowly escapes.
Yeah, good thing he got out of there. He's holding 6 gold coins right now. If he were to die, his team would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and of course, if you die holding gold coins, you drop them. The opponent steals them as well.
And now we do have UT Arlington picking up a lot of the gold coins here out of the top. Right now, they're actually holding on to 16 total. They only need 10 to activate the pirate.
And it gets scary to just try to get into a fight when you know you need to, when you're holding that many coins, knowing that if you make one wrong move, you give all of that leverage to your opponents.
Nobody likes to lose that much money, Gilly.
Nobody. That is true, even in Heroes of the Storm.
Now note, if you can poke in and do a little bit of damage while they're trying to drop off, that will reset the timer for that. Looks like they're going to be forced back. Good job there by Shot as they're both trying to posture here to possibly get in the middle here once again.
Now, importantly, they are about to get to level 10 where you get your heroic abilities, and that will be a good window of time now that they have them where Arizona State doesn't have them. So it becomes a time where they may not be able to stop this turn, and you can see immediately Arizona State backs up. They don't want to lose what coins they do have.
Look at that. They are going to be able to get that turn in, though, and that means that Blackheart now works for UT Arlington.
He's bought easily. And we're going to have the right side of the map, right center, shell down here. Defense is beginning to go down now for Arizona State.
Really tough position for them. They are going up and trying to clear out as many of these waves as is possible, but UT Arlington right now has a 2-level lead, which is a big, big deal.
Coming in now, they're going to try to corner Cure. Cure needs to try to escape as quickly as possible.
It looks like he's doing a good job, does protect himself as much as he can. Cure, of course, that frontline warrior, so hard to kill off.
Yeah, Johanna has a lot of tools to be able to get away from that. She used her heroic ability to stun the members of the team for a little bit of time to let her get into a better position, and then she always has a trait that she pops, Iron Skin, that makes her unstoppable for a few seconds, so they can't stun her and try to keep her from getting away. So Cure, not the worst person on Johanna to get caught by something like that.
I want to point something out here, guys. Can you believe that Arizona State is the one with more of their base in shambles right now?
Right. Just the fact that they have the Sylvanas, they've been able to take out so much that they get a lot more value from these turn-ins.
Well, you know, a lot of people were predicting Arizona State to easily win this, but, you know, Artosis sitting there letting everyone know, obviously it's going to be UT Arlington, and they're showing that right now.
There is a prison on Snickers. Michael Udall going in as that Illidan, and he takes out Brightwing. He's continuing on to try to take out Mist, and Mist has 4 coins. He's not going to get out, and that's 4 coins that they can steal away.
And 2 out of the game right now. It's a 5 versus 3. We're going to have a turn in here. Sneakers depositing those coins, and it's now going to be, again, a seesaw game as it looks like UT Arlington's base is about to get shelled.
Well, this is the beauty of Heroes of the Storm. The game, who's winning can just shift in a matter of seconds there, picking up those coins, getting those couple of kills. Some great play by Michael Udall.
I want to point out, too, that Cladius and DXN, realizing that their opponents were going to take out their teammates, immediately went for the top fort. So all 3 forts are now down, and look at the top here.
All right, over here at the very top of the screen, we have what's called the boss. If you manage to kill him and capture him, then he will push your lane, and this guy is really scary. That's going to be a big problem right now in the top lane for Arizona State.
A beautiful move. That is a great grab on that boss.
Here's a replay of the last fight, the one that Michael Udall was able to get in as Illidan and start hitting a huge, especially with the disintegrate too from Fam. Fam's been talked about a lot for his Lee Ming play, and they were able to melt down Brightwing very quickly, even going out after Mist too.
Well, it looks like right now they are grabbing Cure. Cure goes down right there. A great pickoff here for Arizona State, but they still have that boss to deal with.
Gladius is going after Shot. Tassadar, not the easiest hero to try to take out. He has a lot of tools to be able to get away from fights too, and they have pushed them back, and with the boss still being dealt with, they're going to start trying to turn in their own coins.
And what UT Arlington's doing very effectively is they're causing one problem that Arizona State has to mop up, and while they're trying to clean that up, they then go back and cause another somewhere else.
Yeah, that's just something that UT Arlington showed us yesterday. They are fantastic at. They make you go defend somewhere, and then they hit somewhere else. In this case, turning in some extra coins to the Pirate.
Right, and on this battleground, your structures are always very, very important because the battleground objective directly attacks them, and we can see just from the mini-map that only 1 fort is down for UT Arlington, who may have found some members of Arizona State to go into a fight.
Right now, we do have a bit of a scuffle around Blackheart. Both teams wanting to turn in a bit. They both have enough to get Blackheart to shell their opponents. So this is going to be a big fight that goes down.
Okay, a good interruption there by Kira, but did he overextend? Right now, Arizona State going for the jugular. Kira goes down, Mist in trouble. Snickers also low on HP.
Oh, Snickers almost going down right now. He does use his avatar and gets a gigantic heal. In the meantime, Mist has to run, but is killed off as well.
The rest of the members of UT Arlington are on the run. Michael Udall trying to chase them down, but has to be considered of the fact that he's still holding 10 coins. But now with those 2 kills, they will finally be able to turn those in.
Yeah, UT Arlington having to go back and lick their wounds. Michael Udall now turning in, and they are getting very, very close to another assault where they can shell the base of UT Arlington.
Yeah,
and that's going to be with this right now, it looks like.
With Shot turning in, you're absolutely right. They will be able to get those cannonballs, but still UT Arlington has enough buildings. They don't have to be too scared. But so far, every big battle that we've seen, 2 people from UT Arlington die, and then the rest run away.
Right.
So the fights, the head-up fights are not going well for them.
Yeah, the team fights are definitely favoring Arizona State. UT Arlington is just really good at being able to capitalize on maybe their opponents being out of position where they steal the boss, or they get a big push onto a lane, and with Sylvanas can take out a fort. So it's kind of the battle of the team fight. Can they actually get a team fight to keep taking out members of UT Arlington, who, if you leave them alone, they're going to cause a ruckus somewhere.
Well, right now it looks like this last fort will be shot down by those cannonballs. In the meantime, also we have both of those bruiser camps being grabbed up.
Let's take a look at a replay of the last big fight, again around that turn of Blackheart, and the fact that they were able to stun for so long meant that Fam could throw out the Disintegrate. And on Lee Ming, if you get a hero killed on your opponent's side, all of your abilities reset, including your heroic abilities. So that's why we saw, once again, the big laser from Disintegrate come back out.
Uh-oh, we have another big battle starting up here. Michael Udall leading the charge, trying to get in here. Kira in a lot of trouble. In fact, does get blown up once again. And wow, the team fighting ability of Arizona State is just at another level.
And on the map we see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, for those of you watching at home, we can see that the outer perimeter defense for both teams has been obliterated. So there's only one more line of defense before the core can be exposed and possibly destroyed.
UT Arlington are now, they weren't 16, so that fight definitely favored Arizona State. Arlington did not want to get into a fight there, but Arizona State forced it by coming so far onto their side of the battleground. And with pushing them back once again, they've gotten yet another turn in and are starting to shell these inner defenses.
Yeah, and this is pretty scary, actually, because, again, taking this out and softening this up is going to make it very easy. If Arizona State wins one big team fight, let's say they take out 4 or 5 players on UT Arlington, they may have direct access, make a beeline to the core, and of course, if you destroy your opponent's core, essentially the core of their base, then you win the game.
Yeah, that is it in a nutshell. You don't have to finish through Blackheart if you open up these paths, and they're getting very close to that. That middle keep is going to be very, very low now.
Zeratul is not here with the rest of them, and they're trying to make this fight happen. Disintegrate comes out, starts to burn down Kier's health bar. Brightwing's trying to keep them all alive in a great Void Prison, stops some of the members of Arizona State, but still the fight rages on.
It certainly does. Michael Udall in the middle of things, deal a lot of damage, does blow up, miss there. Oh my God, a lot of damage being dealt. Kier trying to help DXN to get out, but Michael Udall is angry, taking down everybody.
And this Illidan play has been so impressive, and now even Kier in trouble will get away as the rest of the members of Arizona State, you mentioned it, beelining for that center lane.
And they managed to destroy that. The core's exposed. We have at least 20 seconds before the killed UT Arlington players can spawn again.
And they might be able to actually take this down. It's a 5 versus 2 right now on top of this core. The core trying to help out as well. Akafate's taking some damage, but it looks like Fusion Cure might not be able to stop this.
It's getting lower. Right now, UT Arlington has to try to keep this core alive. Arizona State just doing too much damage, and it goes down. GG! Phenomenal game there from Arizona State, but it is not one-sided like they were claiming it was going to be. It was a very back-and-forth match.
You're very right about that, Tasteless. It was a close game. UT Arlington actually winning it for a while, Trixler.
Yeah, it was a really, really impressive win for them. And Illidan was the problem for UT Arlington. I can't wait to hear maybe Trixler, you can give us some insight into where it started to go wrong for UT Arlington.
Yeah, in the early game, UT Arlington had a great composition for split pushing, controlling lanes, soaking everywhere. But when we got to the mid game, when the heroic abilities came offline, Illidan and Fam, Michael Udall, were all able to sit around the turn-on point and force engagements and really get into 5v4s, take somebody out before Huge could even teleport in on that Brightwing. So a great play here by Arizona State. In fact, a couple of the replays would probably show that as well. The team fights just went into Arizona State's favor so well here. Here in particular was a wonderful team fight. You see Cladius come down here in the bottom right corner and land a money Void Prison, really knocking everyone out here. They're in stasis, but Michael Udall and Snickers trusted their teammates, backed up, waited for the heals, and then dived back in, getting a couple of takedowns. And from there, they took this fight all the way down to the core and they took it out. They even chased Cure around, by the way. Cure wanted to waste their time. For a second, Snickers looked at it, but you can tell that Michael Udall made the call. Hey guys, leave him alone. Let's go to the core and win the game.
A lot of times with teams that are newer, they have a problem with knowing when they can end the game. It's knowing, okay, at what level can we actually take out the core, knowing how many people are down, who even is down, depending on what abilities they can have to try to take us out. That was a great call made by Michael Udall to know, hey, we don't have to keep fighting here. We can go for the core and we can win the game right here.
You know, I gotta say, I don't think that game was necessarily indicative of how the series will go, because really what we saw from UT Arlington was building out a set of heroes that's going to be very good at the map itself, not necessarily at fighting, whereas it seems like Arizona State, they have come here tonight for a brawl.
Yeah, they sure have. Illidan was a great pickup here when you think about it, because he was able to move around the battleground, pick up mercenary camps that had more coins for that turn-in, and so when they did get to the mid-game, they had enough coins to turn in. All they had to do was win one team fight, and once they did that, they started taking forts. In fact, UT Arlington had 3 forts killed off before Arizona State even got to 1. So that just goes to show how great of planning here was here for Arizona State, because they were all about the mid-game.
Yeah, it was really Illidan and Li Ming together, too. They had this double threat composition where if they were trying to deal with the Illidan, then Li Ming was free to throw out all the damage that she needed to do. So they really need to assess who they ban out here. I know that they want to focus on banning out Falstad, but I would not be happy with having Michael Udall on Illidan again if I were UT Arlington.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they can pick up Illidan for themselves, something like that.
Could do that.
In the second game yesterday.
It's actually, I'm very impressed with Arizona State, because we've seen Falstad and Brightwing with them the entire time, but they played this new composition that we haven't seen from them the entire month flawlessly, it felt like. Can you actually ban out any of their great heroes? That becomes a question that I'm wondering UT Arlington has to find an answer for.
It's going to be really interesting to see exactly who they pick in Game 2 and how the games unfold. But first of all, that was just Game 1, and this is a best-of-5 match. So we've got a lot more action coming your way. It's still anybody's game. Let's throw it down to Anna in our audience who has an interview for us. Anna.
Thank you very much, Tasteless. As you may have noticed, Michael Udall has lovingly come to be called Noodle. And so I'm here with the group we've dubbed Oodles of Noodles. This is his family. I'm here especially with his mom, Heidi, and brother, Joe. And Heidi, you told me you were shaking. How was that first game for you?
I was stressed out. Half of it I didn't watch. I put my head down and I closed my eyes. And then once we pulled ahead, I was able to watch.
Yeah, we were a little bit worried. Joe, at the beginning, we saw Zeratul go to UT Arlington, which we know is a signature hero of theirs. Brightwing did not go to Akaface, which we know is a favorite of his. At any point in that game, were you worried that Arizona State wasn't going to be able to pull it out?
I was worried at the beginning when I saw the draft because it was a very funky composition with the double pushing with Zul and Sylvanas. But I knew that if they could get to the late game, that ASU could pull it out because they had a much better late game comp with Illidan and Li Ming.
And they did manage to do it. And what's cool is now they're one step closer to winning tuition for their college careers. Yesterday, I asked your parents if they were surprised to learn, their son might be putting himself through college by playing video games. I know that you're an esports fan. Did that ever surprise you that he's this close to paying for school by playing video games?
No, it didn't. He's always been really good at games, a lot of times a lot better than me. So I'm not surprised at all that he's done so well.
Well, Heidi, Mike is very successful at Heroes of the Storm, which is a game that takes a lot of playing together as a team and communication. Were you surprised that he would be so successful at this when so many people want to be competitive esports players, or did you know that he had this in him?
Michael has a lot of leadership characteristics, and ever since he was a little boy, he would always orchestrate his friends, and he spent a lot of time playing with Joseph and Joseph's friends who were 5 years older. And I remember one day I went in and said, "Mike, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm playing with the big boys, Mom," and he was running the show.
Playing with the big boys. Now speaking of playing with the big boys, I feel like you're the authority on this subject. There's a lot of hype about Michael Udall's hair. There's even a Twitter account for it. People really love it. I feel like you're the authority as his brother. Is the hype for Mike Udall's hair deserved?
Yes, it is. You should have seen it when it was longer. It was beautiful.
Wow, all right. Maybe grow out your hair, Mike, according to your brother. Now, one last thing from Mama Noodle. Your boy is one game closer to winning this whole thing. If you could say something to him right now, what would it be?
Mike, you've got this. I know you can win.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Guys, don't go anywhere. We will be back with Game 2 of our grand finals, UT Arlington versus Arizona State.
Warcraft, rated PG-13.
Now I've got a tale to tell you of the ones from long ago. There's an evil that's been dreaming, but now it's softly screaming. From the darkness, their power will grow. It's the whispers of the old gods.
There was a time long ago when I fell under the influence of treachery and darkness. I now go into battle, redeemed by the purifying power of the light. I am Lady Liadra, and when I shine the light's wrath upon you, there will be nowhere to hide.
We are back at the 2016 Heroes of the Dorm Grand Finals. I'm Tasteless, and here with me is Artosis, Gillyweed, and Trixler. Now, Artosis, we saw some sick gameplay from Arizona State. Let's talk about that.
We definitely did, and I thought that the play from UT Arlington was very strong as well, but Arizona State, when they were getting into fights, they were wrecking face, not losing anyone, getting 1, 2, 3 kills every single time.
Yeah, I felt like there were a couple of times, a couple of fights where maybe we were seeing some nerves or something from UT Arlington too. Things like getting into a fight when they weren't at the same talent tier, the 15 versus 16, or even at Blackheart when they got into a fight around that too. They weren't quite into position. So Arizona State, very good at taking advantage of that, realizing right away when somebody was out of position and they could take them out.
Yeah, it's one of the ways to beat a bright wing composition. If they're not playing together and they're not calling out, hey, teleport on me, you take them out and get into a situation where you get a number advantage, 5v4, and that continued to happen. Going into game number 2, that can't happen for UT Arlington, or they're going to be down 0-2 in one more game and they're out of the tournament.
Well, that's a lot of pressure. If you go down 0-2 and you're on match point for the rest of the time, that hurts.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll be able to actually come back from that. It's very rare that we'll see someone come back and reverse sweep it, take 3 games in a row while being, on the brink of destruction.
Yeah, that's a very scary place to find yourself in. But the place that they're in right now is a place they've already been at Heroes of the Dorm. They were down the first game to Boston College in the round of 8. And it's really important to note that this is already something that they've experienced. It's not something that Arizona State has had to experience yet, as they've never lost a game this tournament. And I even asked Yuj and the entire team, when you lose a game, when you find yourself with your life on the line, is it a place, does it bring yourself, your team back together? And they said, yes, it brings you together even stronger. So I know that they don't feel too bad here.
Yeah, that happened in the round of 16, actually. We saw the whole Bloodlust Rhaegar composition on game 2 when they were down 0-1. They brought out a crazy strategy. They have confidence in their strategies and the way they play to get them out of this hole that they've already dug themselves in. So that could be happening here in this game.
All right, so, I kind of want to ask you guys who you think is going to win, but there's a better way to do this. You guys have been casting since the very beginning of this tournament, and you filled out your fantasy brackets.
We did. We can take a look at our picks, actually, too.
Let's check this out. All right, Trixler.
Yeah, there's a lot of red there.
That's a lot of lost teams.
In the top left corner, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it all the way for me, but I did have UT Arlington and Arizona State meeting up. I thought Illinois would beat them, but Arizona State going all the way for me.
That's interesting that you chose a 5th seed. to go all the way to the finals?
Illinois was here last year in 2015. They made it all the way to the Heroic Four. I just believed in them, but they got knocked out in like the round of 32 or something like that. So unfortunately, they gave me that red dot, and unfortunately, I don't have as many points as Gillyweed over here, who's an all-star when it comes to her predictions.
Well, I did go off of the #1 seeds quite a bit, so maybe I cheated a little bit. Only one red. That was assumption. It was Tennessee who was able to come out of bracket A, but I did believe, knowing UT Arlington, how much they wanted the rematch with Arizona State from the round of 16 last year, that we would find ourselves where we are today. But actually, I did not put Arizona State I said UT Arlington would be winning it, but after this, looking at it now, I might be changing my mind.
Well, I mean, you are welcome to do so. I am staying fast with UT Arlington. Trixler, are you going to switch
Still
it up?
staying with Arizona State. All the way from the round of 64, I believe in these guys. It's a redemption story for them coming from 2015. I think they got what it takes to win the entire tournament.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Arizona State's going to take this, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go ahead and talk about a few key players in that last match that we saw on Blackheart's Bay.
Well, for me, I'm going to be looking at Snickers for Arizona State. Snickers was the newest addition to this team for the roster. Shot was new as well, but we already knew about Shot. We've seen him before in action. Snickers was such a question mark for me, especially in the round of 64, but he has proven that he can play with some of the best here. He's been an elite warrior, and that last game in particular, actually, he was playing Murden against Johanna, and he was conditioning the opposing Johanna to pop his Iron Skin a little bit earlier so he could follow up with a Storm Bolt and get his team an engagement. Such smart play coming there from Snickers, and I love what I see from this guy.
I remember you saying back in the bracket reveal that he was the one you were most worried about for the team.
No longer an issue whatsoever. Snickers has been doing a good job, so if you ever watch his cast later, man, good job, man. Keep it up.
Well, I've talked a lot about both Yuge and Cladius, but for UT Arlington in this game, I would love to highlight DXN. DXN had a lot of great plays yesterday, playing Abathur, and now he's showing his prowess on Sylvanas. But you can still see his most played is Abathur here, but a lot of Gall too, just showing that he has a lot of different variety of heroes. And in fact, out of all of his teammates, he actually is the person who has played the most variety of heroes, so he has a lot of flexibility he can bring to the team.
When I think about DXN, I think miniature Cladius. He kind of really takes on the role of playing whatever hero he needs to, a lot of different variety, and I love what he brings to this team. He's so helpful.
Well, I got a little announcement to make. Map number 2, Battleground number 2 is going to be Towers of Doom.
Oh,
okay. All right.
That's a weird one. All right.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Towers of Doom. Immediately, UT Arlington picked this one, of course, because they did lose the last match. But that really speaks to what they do so well. They play crazy strategies. And if you're going to pull out a crazy strategy, you pull it out on Towers of Doom because it's such a different battleground. I actually think that they could take this one.
Yeah, and especially because Towers of Doom is our newest battleground too. It's one that teams now are starting to get more used to, but a lot of times when you have a newer one, it takes a long time to get to that point where you feel comfortable on it. They may also be just trying to throw off Arizona State since it is so much newer than the rest.
All right, we'll dive into Towers of Doom in a minute here, but first, I think the draft is ready. So let's see what heroes these teams want to pick.
All right, here we go. Bans will be coming first. The first ban will be Zagara. Makes sense. UT Arlington can play her so well, especially Mist. So Arizona State is staying with that strategy of getting rid of that hero.
Yeah, it really seems like Arizona State has been focusing a lot on Mist, and that's a strategy you see from teams a lot, is if they find somebody they believe is going to be the weakest of the players, or maybe has the least amount of heroes they can play very well, they'll go after that. But also we see Falstad being banned, so again, also focusing sometimes on the strongest player on a team in that regard too.
Well, you keep talking about Falstad. I do keep seeing him banned, but that Illidan last game was just bonkers.
Yeah, Illidan's a little bit harder to pull off from this battleground. The rotations are a bit harder, so I like to pick because that makes Illidan a hero that you don't have to ban out right away, but it's still a possibility here for Arizona State. But they are going to lead here with one of Michael Udall's best bruisers, Sonya.
Yeah, not too different from Illidan. She doesn't quite jump in as much, but one of those strong front line brawlers.
She does jump in if she picks Leaf, and she also does like this, oh, while she does it, which is pretty awesome. Maybe we'll actually get to see them do that this game.
That was quite good. That was quite spot on, I gotta say.
Well, her main engagement tool, Ancient Spear, Seismic Slam as well will be her W ability. Applies a lot of damage, so Udall's allowed to get in the face of her opponents. And then, of course, on the other side, UT Arlington thinking about what they want to pick up. Do you start picking up heroes that can kind of counterban Sonya here a little bit here and try and keep her control, or do you go for your main strat?
Well, you know, that's the beauty of the draft in Heroes of the Storm. You have all sorts of ways you can do it, and they go for Illidan!
Oh, wow!
Wow, indeed.
Normally, you don't pick Illidan into a Sonya, because in a 1v1, Sonya actually wins that matchup. If she hits her Ancient Spear and applies the slams, Illidan can't really deal with that damage, but if you have a support like Huge on your side, you're going to be okay.
All right, so they played Illidan in Game 2 versus Tennessee yesterday and played it with no Warrior. I'm not sure if that same composition will be coming out, but for now, they do have Illidan. They'll have one more pick before Arizona State goes into their next two. They could go for their support here. They could pick a Warrior if they want to make sure they have a strong frontline hero. There's a lot of options here for them.
And it looks like, hold on. I think that's the wrong side, perhaps. I believe Brightwing probably going to be picked up for UT Arlington.
We have a small issue with the draft, but we'll know for sure. Brightwing, though, Akaface, a smile on his face. We know that he loves playing that Fairy Dragon, and he's showed it very well yesterday, and Yuj maybe having a little bit of more trouble with it.
Yeah, we're getting confirmation here that Brightwing is the pick for Arizona State. We'll get an idea of what exactly was going on for UT Arlington, but I'm wondering if they're going to pick up Rhaegar. They're actually picking up Li Ming, so they're getting that 1-2 punch of Illidan diving in, Li Ming providing damage.
Well, both those heroes were actually on the other side last game, so going to be interesting how that's going to work out for them, and Uther being picked up.
Uther being picked instead here. He has those nice burst heals, has a Divine Shield as well, that heroic ability that can kind of pause the entire game as one hero will become a little bit on the invincible side there. So Sonya and Brightwing versus this composition can be a little bit scary, and here are our bans. Greymane and Tassadar no longer available to be picked up.
Arizona State understands that Tassadar adds a lot to Illidan. He did in the last game, and being able to have the shielding that he provides allows Illidan to continue fighting, which is exactly what he wants to be doing if he can. So that's a really great ban on the side of Arizona State.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Arizona State in my opinion so far. I really like how they've drafted, and I especially like this pick. Grabbing Muradin, just one of those strongest frontline guys.
All right, Thrall will be picked up here. He's another frontline guy here, but he's more damage-oriented. He brings in his hammer, knocks people around, and has a wonderful heroic called Sundering, which can force engages. Nice pickup here for Arizona State.
Now, with 2 picks left for UT Arlington, we still will need to see a Warrior of their own. They're going to grab Zul once again for Mist, not having the Zagara. And the final pick, likely for Cure here. We still have a lot of Warriors available for him.
Certainly does, and it's going to be Tyrael. I really do like this pickup. Tyrael is one of these frontline guys as well, maybe a little bit softer than someone like Muradin, but definitely adds a lot of support to his team through shielding.
Yeah, UT Arlington isn't as robust as Arizona State in their draft already, but they have a lot of tools to get into the fight, and then of course keep their teammates alive with Sanctification and Divine Shield. What will be the final pickup for Arizona State? It's going to be Jimmy Rayner himself,
hey,
the Space Marine.
Wasn't expecting that one, but pretty cool to see. I mean, he can be very, very strong against a hero like Illidan.
Jimmy's also great at really, I'm going to call him Jimmy the entire time. Rayner is really, really good at knocking people back as well. If Illidan gets that engage that he wants, if he can line up a shot, he can knock him away from the entire fight. Also bringing in that huge heroic Hyperion, applying damage to everyone in a large area. Again, making it easier for them to control and dictate the way they fight.
He also inspires his teammates who are around him, giving them attack speed. So if they are ready to go, if they can be decisive in their fight, then they'll all have the attack speed at once and can just go and try to take out the members of UT Arlington as quickly as possible.
Okay, so they're trying to counter each other, and they obviously have to play on that specific battleground. Do you think there's a team with an advantage here?
I actually really like Arizona State's draft this game, I do have to say. I love their front line. It's so powerful. And I look at the other side, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to stay alive long enough to do the damage it takes to win a fight.
Really important heroes on this battleground are those who can fly across the battleground. Like Brightwing, she can teleport into her teammates. And the fact that she would be able to do that means that she could try to pick up one of these altars. But here is Towers of Doom. It's a 3-lane battleground, and as I mentioned before, the newest that we have. 4 mercenary camps, 1 boss that is very tough to take, by the way. He is very scary to fight. But if you take him, he doesn't actually march down a lane like our last boss. He shoots shots at the core. And in fact, there's no way for you to be able to attack the core yourself. You have to either get the boss or grab altars that will periodically spawn. Every time you get an altar, you shoot the number of shots equal to your core plus the bell towers that you have claimed. So if you can take out your opponent's keeps, then you will get more shots whenever you grab those altars.
Very beneficial. Now back to the compositions. For me, there are two dynamics for this Battleground. One, controlling the map and being able to deal with all the waves and pushing them forward. I think UT Arlington has a better composition for that. But in terms of team fights and controlling altars, I'm looking at Arizona State. So it will be a struggle in the early game about who can grab the map, control it from there, and then going to the mid game, whoever has a lead should have a lead heading to the mid game.
You know, it kind of looks like the last game in some ways. Definitely very team fight oriented for Arizona State. Definitely a pushing composition here for UT Arlington. Do we have any favorites? Do you actually, because you're saying whoever's leading going towards the end is going to win? Stronger position. Let's go, Tris.
I think UT Arlington has a better composition for getting an early game lead and controlling that all the way through. I'm going with UT Arlington in game number 2.
I will have to disagree with you. I think Arizona State's going to be able to brawl through this, and with the Brightwing being able to grab one of those altars and then teleport to her team, if they can just delay it long enough, they're going to be able to keep the far better control of that objective.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for UT Arlington to actually win any fights when it comes down to it. So this time at least, I do have to go with Arizona State.
Yeah, I got to echo what you're saying. I think Arizona State might have this, but I would love to be surprised and maybe see this balance out to a 1-1. By the way, game number 2 is ready. This is UT Arlington versus Arizona State.
On the left in the blue, we have Cladius on Illidan, Yuge on Uther, Mist on Zool, DXN on Leeming, and Kier on Tyrael. Give it up for UT Arlington! And on the right in the red, we have Michael Udall on Sonya, Snickers on Muradin, Fam on Raynor, Shaw on Thrall, and Akaface on his patented Brightwing. Make some noise for Arizona State!
All right, we see the heroes beginning to move out and try to get into whatever position. Last time we saw them try to set up for an ambush. Let's see what happens this time.
All right, I don't know if that's going to work out, but I know what will work out. You guys getting on Twitter and hashtagging Heroes of the Dorm. Let us know who you think is going to win. Hashtag vote UTA or hashtag vote ASU.
Now, I want to go back to the point I made where if you can start to take out your opponent's keeps, they don't just go away. You turn them to your side, which forces your opponents to have to respond to that, because as the altars start to spawn, oh my goodness, Cladius, is he going to go down the chain lightning?
Unbelievable. What we're only 150 seconds in and already Cladius just gunned down. Not a good start so far for UT Arlington, but look, it's just the start of the game. There's still a lot of room to try to come back.
Oh, certainly. Those early deaths aren't quite as impactful, but it doesn't necessarily bode well that they're already losing a hero in that top lane.
Yeah, it's not a good indicator, is it?
And it messes with the strategy of UT Arlington, too. They wanted to leave Cladius top and allow the other 4 to go between mid and bottom to clear out those waves and maybe trying to catch somebody out, but they're the ones getting caught out here. As Huge in trouble will likely be, yet another kill for Arizona State.
Arizona State looking unbelievably strong right now. It's already level 2 to level 3. Arizona winning in that experience race.
You know, Trixler was saying he thought that UT Arlington had the advantage in the early game, but so far everything points towards Arizona State having that advantage.
The first altars are about to spawn, and if you can capture one of these, it will send 4 shots, 1 for each of the keeps that you have, plus your core. As we get into the later game, that will change because you will be taking over keeps from your opponents. But for now, there are 2 different altars with the potential to have 8 shots go towards your opponent's core. 40 hit points are on each side.
All right, well, it's of course very important to get these if you can. You need to deal that damage to your opponent's core. But if you don't get them early on, it's not necessarily the end of the world.
Once again, we just see Arizona State very good at shoving and bullying UT Arlington back here. Now in the center of the map, it looks like Fam doing a good job, and already we see a little bit of damage dealt there to the core. Remember, this map operates very differently from Blackheart's Bay. You are required to hit from a distance in order to take the core out instead of what we saw, for instance, in that last game. So already a pretty frighteningly good start here for Arizona State.
Yeah, I mean, grabbing both of those right off the bat, that's already 8 damage out of 40. So that's kind of a big deal, but it doesn't get them too far ahead. This is one of those maps where you can have big comebacks in the late game.
You can, but it does at least make it very stressful for you as a team if you get so far behind in the core, especially as into the later game, you could have all 3 altar locations, or 3 altar locations out of the 4 spawning, and it becomes very tough because you have to spread out to try to stop your opponents from getting all of them, and you can make some risky errors.
Right now we do have Michael Udall up in the top, clearing this Merce camp. And these Pumpkin Men definitely do a lot of damage to buildings, so this is going to push the lane very strongly.
Right, if they get a clear access, they will run themselves into the structures, and later on, you could even help them go all the way to the core, and they count as shots at the core,
here we go,
too.
they're going to kamikaze in there now, doing some damage up to that gate up there at the top.
All right, well, they did deal that damage and knock down the gate, and now Michael Udall and Shot really dealing a lot of damage to the towers as well, but meanwhile, down at the bottom, UT Arlington taking out the whole front wall.
Yeah, those towers not only give you experience, but start to open up the possibility that later on, if you win a good team fight, you can try to take out one of those keeps, and then from there have extra shots from the altars. By the way, we should have another altar phase starting very soon. Arizona State with a slight experience lead at level 7.
Yeah, you know, that's very nice to have in the early game. If you end up getting to level 10 before your opponents, you get that very strong heroic ability, and that is when you can really win some fights.
Cladius versus Michael Udall missed coming in too, but so are the rest of the team. Michael gets low and Cladius is going for it, but has he overextended? Cladius goes down, but so does Michael.
Well, some more damage being put onto DXN right now. He does get shielded, but Fam comes in with the flank, takes him down. Kier getting pretty low, Snickers as well. The stun goes out, more damage to Kier, but he will live.
2 for 1 in favor of Arizona State. They did at least get Michael Udall, but did suffer for it in losing 1 more, and that means they're still going to be behind in experience for now.
Now, if we draw our attention to the bottom of the screen here, we'll see both teams are at level 7 right now, although as I just finished that sentence, Arizona State pops up to level 8. When they get to level 10, that's when they get their heroic abilities. The heroic abilities, very important. Those are your strongest powers as heroes. So if you can get to level 9, level 10 to their level 9, you can try to pick a fight and maybe try to win a big chunk of this game.
All right, here is Akaface on Brightwing yet again. He said, yeah, you can have her 1 game, but I am the true Brightwing player. And Brightwing is going to be so important for their team because if they can just stall out at those altar phases, while another one is active, he could pick it up and then quickly teleport to his team, whereas someone else, they have to run all the way across the map to get there.
Very important to keep that in mind. Akaface is everywhere at once. You always have to assume that he can come in and help out his teammates. So definitely something that UT Arlington has to take into consideration before having any big battles.
Yeah, it always has to be on your mind for sure. Mist might be in trouble here as Michael Udall comes in. Actually,
shot getting low, shot getting low.
Oh,
nice save there by
Akaface.
Akaface doing a great job keeping his teammates alive here. But in the meanwhile, there's a great push coming over here. They've destroyed the gates now in that top lane for UT Arlington.
Uh-oh, Huge taking some significant damage here, and they are going to be able to blow him up right there. Cladius in the middle of things, but without the proper support here, taking a lot of damage.
Oh, heroic abilities have been achieved, and UT Arlington does not have them yet, so they're trying to back off, but they lose Mist as well. So they take 1 person out, but still yet again lose to themselves.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. Arizona State getting that level 10, they're able to really start picking fights. Cladius might be trapped. Cladius is cornered. Cladius goes down.
In a matter of seconds, they are able to take down Cladius, who's really the key player here on Illidan for UT Arlington. But now finally, UT Arlington does have that very important level 10 and that super strong heroic ability.
Unfortunately for them, they got it just as they lost people. They still don't have Cladius. Akaface is channeling, trying to pick up this altar. Cure does stop it for now, and Mist uses his poison to try to bring down Michael Udall. They're chasing them off of this. Tyrael trying to keep everyone alive, and there comes Cladius with the hunt. The fight is on!
Palladius dealing a lot of damage here too. Aquaface jumps away, barely making it out, but it looks like UT Arlington going to chase. Bam taking a lot of damage. Kara jumps in front, starts to block him, and he does go down.
There are 2 down from Arizona State, and both altars are still available for UT Arlington to try to pick up.
Looks like they're going to try to go over here right now. It's about 5 more seconds before Michael Udall can spawn back into the game and try to help his teammates out, but that might be enough time for UT Arlington to really capitalize on this lead in this game.
Oh, they are pushing them back right now. Arizona State trying to get yet another altar, still more damage on their opponent's core, and they will actually succeed there, bringing it down to just 24 health. In the meantime, Snickers jumping in over here. A huge Sunder coming out of shot, and they are pushing off UT Arlington.
Mist trying to move away from the rest of the team. He's caught out from between them, and UT Arlington had to send somebody back to heal back up after that last fight, and that means they didn't have everybody in position to try to take the altars right away, and that means that once again both of the altars go to Arizona State.
After that huge win back there by UT Arlington as far as the confrontation went, strategically Arizona State actually maneuvered them back and actually stole the map objectives from them anyways.
It might have been a little too greedy to try to go after both if they needed to have somebody go back too, because they were able to stall out the one that was closer to their base, and they weren't having anybody channel the one that was by UT Arlington's. Here's the replay of this last fight too, where UT Arlington started to come ahead. The fact that they did a lot of damage with the poison from Zool, and Cladius coming back in with the hunt, able to start to deal a lot of damage and get to the fight very quickly. They are able to take out a couple of people. DXN in the back, like we saw before with Illidan and Li Ming together. They finally secured 2 kills, but again, the Battleground objective, which is oh so important, went to Arizona State.
Well, as this game goes on, I got to say, it's going to be tough for UT Arlington. They can still possibly come back, but 1 or 2 more mistakes, and I think they are going to be taken out.
It's pretty tough right now. You know, obviously we have twice the core health for Arizona State. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to come back.
All right, Snickers on the run here. Looks like Huge wants to engage. Good save there. And of course, Akafe is coming in here to do that support role. Meanwhile, back over here, Michael Udall chasing Huge down. Shot coming in from the side. Huge still trying to get away. Nice stun there. Huge just needs to get behind the gate.
Here trying to help him out right now, giving him some shields, but he does get taken out once again. That's Huge's 3rd death at least in this game.
And yet again, they get caught in a place where they don't have 13, and Mist getting hit by the Banshees from Raynor. Hits the well, trying to go back up. Is he going to go down? Okay, he stays alive.
Barely saved.
Oh man, that one was just too close for Mist. Too close for me.
Yeah, our hearts are racing. But yet again, UT Arlington got caught where they didn't have 13. Arizona knew that was a place where they had advantage because they had a level lead where they got an extra talent over their opponents. And because of that, yet another altar phase has come and gone in favor of Arizona.
So far, Arizona State really showing that they are the superior team. They are playing perfectly in these team fights, chasing people down, catching them off guard, and then, of course, grabbing a lot of mercenaries to help them push the map.
Well, now that they have 13, UT Arlington are looking for the fight again, but not finding it. Everyone disengaging from Arizona State. And as long as they can continue to keep this level lead, not losing anybody when UT Arlington catches back up, that's going to be really great for them in these ultra phases. It's now, the core healths are 16 to 40, still a perfect healthy core for Arizona State.
Yeah, Arizona State still basically unscathed as far as the winning objectives are in this game, which is, of course, just destroy the opponent's core. Meanwhile, a skirmish over here at the top mercenary camp. Looks like UT Arlington trying to ambush Michael Udall on the run.
A lot of damage being thrown in. Cladius jumps in as well, but it looks like we actually have him taking a lot of damage here. Michael Udall does get taken out by Cladius. Cladius super low. Divine Shield helping Cladius to stay alive.
But DXN is in trouble now without the help from that support, and that means it'll be a 1-for-1 in this fight. Li Ming is so weak, so squishy. If she gets caught in a position like that, it's so tough to keep her alive.
Huge taking damage. Huge goes down now. Missed on the run here. Snickers has been stopped temporarily.
You see Michael Udall there, so excited, so happy with how that battle turned out. They definitely ended up winning it at the end of the day. Once again, just kind of out-controlling their opponents in the battle.
Full level lead for Arizona State. They're looking at getting level 16 because that's where big talents are given to a team, and they might even catch Cure here as they come through the center teleport area.
Well, looks like right now we do have Aka Face coming into the center. Kira's jumping into the middle of things right now, trying to mix things up. And Mist will be able to push this lane back, but we have a full level lead, level 15 against 14, going into these next shrines.
Now, UT Arlington's very cautious about engaging there. The positioning was very good for Arizona State, and although there was only one altar still, with every single shot that hits the core, they get further and further behind here. Now 12 to 40 still, and Arizona State are about to get level 16.
Yeah, you know, if UT Arlington does come back, it is going to be a long uphill battle. It's not impossible, by the way.
No.
It'll just be pretty difficult.
Things like this have happened before, but Arizona State is not going to let up yet. Right now, though, we do have UT Arlington moving towards the bottom of the map. Maybe they'll be able to get Fam. We do have Akaface coming in immediately to help save him, though.
Oh, Divine Shield has to keep Cladius alive, but that's a very long cooldown for that ability, which means they know that they have to move back now. Their chance, their opportunity to try to catch somebody out and take them out has stopped, and they just have to defend until they can get that opportunity again.
They continue to push in this bottom lane. I'm not sure that they can actually break through, but it looks like they do want to try, in fact, pushing this advantage of having that level 16.
Now let's see if this is wise or perhaps too greedy here from Arizona State. Arizona State taking some damage. Snickers beginning to back up. Shot has been slowed down, and UT Arlington successfully drives back the push there from Arizona State.
Okay, but I don't want to see UT Arlington chase them down here. Things definitely still could turn. It's not like Arizona State was close to death. In the meantime, Cladius going towards the top.
I think you've highlighted a very important point, Artosis, is that UT Arlington can win fights. The problem is that they keep pushing forward when they need to regroup, go back, and regather themselves.
Now, Cladius is by himself. He went up to the top to try to get these mercenary camps. Michael Udall realizes it, and here comes Akaface teleporting in. The polymorph hits, turning him into a pig, and a sundering will make sure that he doesn't escape.
That teamwork, that shot calling by Michael Udall to move up there and pick off Cladius was fantastic. He didn't know for sure he was up there, but that's what a great player would do, and that's what Cladius is.
And that means now, just in that time, they're not going to have Illidan for another 25 seconds as an altar phase starts.
Now look at this. They're setting up an ambush here. They're trying to make them chase huge and then maybe attack back in here. But is it going to work? Does Snickers overextend here?
Well, Snickers is going in very deep. We actually do have Kira pushing everyone back. The poison does go out here from Mist, but doesn't do that much damage, really.
They're just trying to stop one. They know it's going to be so hard to stop two of them, but for now, Arizona State has been very aggressive on this side. They finally sent Akaface back over to channel at least one of these altars, but if they can wait just a little bit longer, remember, Cladius has the hunt, and now he's back into the fight.
Jumping all over Fam right now. Fam trying to stay alive. Akaface helping out a lot as well. Cladius taking tons of damage, has to back out. Huge, though, looks like he will drop once again.
And Cure now taking a lot of damage. His teammates don't seem able to help him. Cure goes down now. DXN and Mist have to back up. Snickers absorbs some damage, but it's not enough for him to die. And that means another deposit over here.
That's going to be 5 more damage on the core now, since they do have that extra 4. This game is almost over. And going after the boss, this will be it. This boss will give them 4 more shots.
They're going for the boss. He's now been activated. It looks like UT Arlington going to try to come in, but that's going to be it. GG.
Wow, UT Arlington playing a flawless game here. I cannot believe how one-sided that truly was.
I cannot believe that Arizona State did not lose one single hit point from their core. It was the battleground that we went to from UT Arlington. They're the ones who had some sort of plan, but whatever it was, it just did not pay off, Trixler.
UT Arlington's early game just never happened, and in the mid-game, they became a one-trick pony. Cure and Mist were trying to hit a Sanctification into a Poison Nova combo, and Arizona State just caught it. They would bait it out. Every time a Sanctification came down, immediately Arizona State backed up, and Mist just uses Poison Nova anyways. That's 2 major heroics that go down, and they win every team fight after that. If you're going to run a composition like that, you need to hit those abilities, or you're going to lose like we just saw.
That was rough. That was rough.
That was, yeah.
How do we even come back from this as UT Arlington supporters?
Yeah, a 40-0 never happens on that battleground, especially at this level of play.
No, I mean,
Arizona State made a statement.
That game was more one-sided than a Mobius strip, guys. That was absolutely brutal. I thought that maybe Arizona State would be likely to win, but instead it was so one-sided. I mean, felt there was never really a moment where UT Arlington had a chance.
Let's check out a replay here and to see how dominating Arizona State was in team fights. This was the only area that UT Arlington would have had a good fight, and they used that combo, Sanification into Poison Nova. Everyone pulled away when things started looking a little bit scary. Sundering came out, and then from there, Arizona State just got a couple of heals. Even though this was a 4v5, they were able to pick off their opponents, and they turned this fight around because they understand that the major part of damage for UT Arlington is gone. Illidan's looking to pick off people, but there's not people that are low enough for them to actually take off. Snickers chase them back, and that was the closest fight of the game, by the way, and it was still in Arizona State's favor.
What I've been seeing from the drafts from UT Arlington is it seems like they are so concerned on trying to disrupt Arizona State in the drafts. They're looking at, okay, we ban Falstad, we take Illidan this time too. They're obviously trying in that point to like steal things away that they feel are very valuable to Arizona State. What I want to see from UT Arlington is that they play their own game. That's what we saw from them in their semifinal yesterday.
Totally agree. When it comes to hero synergies, UT Arlington is so good at finding those heroes. Right now, they're prioritizing wave clear, and they're not getting the wave clear because they keep dying in the early game. Change their strategy, play their game, and stop trying to beat Arizona State in their own game because they adjust.
You know, I think that is what we saw in game number 1 on Blackheart's Bay. They really kind of made their own composition there, their own type of strategy, and that game was actually very, very close. They were winning it for a good portion of it, but here, trying to steal away the heroes a bit, it feels like they're losing a lot in the draft stage.
Gotta agree with you.
Yeah, it's definitely seeming that way for sure. I hope that we'll get to see more games from them, maybe be able to bring it back if for nothing else, because I want to see more games, guys.
I want to see more games too. Hopefully we can have that. By the way, we have Anna with an interview for us. Anna, how's it going?
Thanks, Tasteless. I'm up here with Gutslug, who is the captain of Tennessee, who was part of the Heroic Four yesterday. Unfortunately, Gutslug, your team was eliminated, but how's your team doing? Are they in good spirits?
Yeah, our team's doing pretty good. You know, we were considered the underdogs coming in, and I think we proved that we have what it takes to at least hang with these guys, and that if we get the practice and the full year to be together looking forward, we'll be able to hang really well next year, if not take it all.
So you guys are going to continue to play together, you think?
Yeah, we only have one person graduating, and we're looking at a really strong team for next year, for sure.
Good. Well, you're keeping your head in the game, obviously, and kind of as our heroes expert watching this last game, Arizona State made a great showing. Do you think that they won this in the draft, as they did get Brightwing for Akaface and a few other picks that were really good for them?
Yeah, I think that they definitely had a big advantage in the draft because they ran a comp, I think they call it Unkillable. And if you look at every hero on that team has a lot of self-sustain, like every single person could heal themselves. And they kind of locked UTA into having to use the hunt for their only kill. And if the hunt didn't get a kill with Sanct and everything else, like, how are they going to kill everyone else? Like, Li Ming won't get a reset, and then they're unkillable. That's the whole point of the comp. And so I think that UTA kind of lost it in the draft a little bit there.
So if they had lost it in the draft, or if they hadn't, what could they have done in that last game to show a little bit better? Because Arizona State didn't lose any hit points on their core. UT Arlington definitely did not perform like they wanted to there. What should they have done?
I think they needed to really press their advantage early, I would say. They were doing really well with the rotations to start, and they needed to be able to survive a little bit better. It seemed like once they started to fall behind just 1 or 2 towers, which is, it kind of stinks, but it's not the end of the world because they had a really strong mid-game comp. I think that they started to tilt a little bit. They were kind of not as coordinated as they have been in the past, and they were, you know, they would like they hunted in one time with the Sanct too far back and stuff like that. Like that really is, it's kind of nerves, I think. So I think they just need to take a deep breath, play their game. They know what they need to do, and they're really good. And I think that they can get it back together, maybe.
I mean, you've studied both these teams extensively because you knew you were going to play against them. Do you think that UT Arlington has what it takes to bring back this next game and keep Arizona State from taking the whole championship?
I think that Arizona State might have a little bit better straight-up team fight, but I think UTA can definitely get in their heads and can take games off them. I think my prediction was 3-2, and I think that it still might be possible. Nothing's out, so I'm really excited to look forward to the next game.
That does sound like an awesome finals to have it 3-2. Who are you and the rest of Tennessee rooting for, if anyone?
We've made a lot of good friends here on all the teams, and I'm not really sure about everyone else. I'm just hoping for the 3-2, so I guess this game UTA, but really I would be happy with anyone winning because it's been such a great event.
Rooting for more games. I think we can all agree with that. And guys, let's make sure we get to that next game as soon as possible. We'll have a brief break and right back We will be right back with Game 3 of UT Arlington versus Arizona State in our grand finals of Heroes of the Dorm. Don't go anywhere.
Stickers. Reset. They're 10. Back up. Stun.
Nice try. You good. Nice.
Yes!
Cool fucking game, boy.
Yes!
Free, dude.
When I was a girl, I had a fear of spiders. I was told they felt no emotion, their hearts never beat. But I know the truth.
Trying to crash another party, love?
Overwatch. Watch the full animated short at playoverwatch.com. Rated T for teen.
There was a time long ago when I fell under the influence of treachery and darkness. I now go into battle, redeemed by the purifying power of the light. I am Lady Liadra, and when I shine the light's wrath upon you, there will be nowhere to hide.
Drop the beat.
The world could always use more heroes.
Overwatch. Coming to PC and consoles May 24th. Pre-order now and get early access to the open beta for you and a friend.
Where am I?
You're wanted for treason.
I've always been loyal to the Dominion.
Rogue agent, send reinforcements immediately. All hands to battle stations.
Our scans show that your memories have been altered.
Welcome back to the Heroes of the Dorm 2016 Grand Finals. This has been a fantastic final so far. It's been pretty impressive from Arizona State, but we've seen comebacks in matches like this before. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is very tough. UT Arlington, though, has shown a lot of skill. I think if they can revert to how they were thinking about the game in game number 1, that was super close. Something like that can still bring them back, I think.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to shake off the nerves, play their own game, and they definitely have the chance to bring it back, at least to our later games, maybe even the whole thing. I still have faith.
Yeah, I think Gutslug was right. Take a deep breath, prepare for this next matchup. You know what Arizona State does well, and just try to play your own game and take them out here. You got 3 more chances if you win here.
Now, this is our second year of Heroes of the Dorm, and we want to keep enhancing our broadcast viewing experience. So why don't we go ahead and take a closer look at the new and improved ways we've made it so that you can watch and enjoy Heroes.
Heroes of the Dorm 2016 is upon us, and we have built a custom observer interface for a quick glance summary of the game. We set to work creating a new custom minimap that will remain visible throughout the broadcast. This small top-down view is unique to each battleground and will display all relevant team structures, battleground objectives, including which team has possession, and the current location of all heroes. Just beneath the minimap sits the scoreboard. This is your central hub for active information. Here we give you a quick look at the hero compositions that make up each team, including individual health bars, and a heroic indicator that will light up when a heroic ability is available for play. Also new this year is the addition of death timers that will show the amount of time remaining before a hero that's been taken out of the fight can jump back in. Moving towards the inside, here we will show you the current team level, as well as a visual indicator that depicts how much experience the team has earned towards the next level. In the middle of the scoreboard, we will surface information relevant to the battleground itself, including a summary of the objective status, upcoming map timings, core health, and a summary of team takedowns and fortifications remaining. We hope this year's interface will keep you locked in step with the exciting moment-to-moment gameplay brought to you by these amazing collegiate teams.
Any winning Heroes of the Storm team needs a variety of different heroes. Gilly, which ones do you think stood out to you the most when you were looking at that back there?
Well, I want to go not only with a hero who's been important to Heroes of the Dorm 2016, but 2015 too. Let's talk about Brightwing, the Fairy Dragon. Akaface, his favorite hero, even Yu, she really likes playing Brightwing too, and that's because she, as a support, is still a playmaker. Her ability to phase shift in, teleporting instantly to her teammates, means that you can always create a situation where all of a sudden you have more players than your opponents in a battle. A 1v1 suddenly becomes a 2v1. Also, there's Polymorph. That's a really, really important ability, Artosis.
I'll take Artanis.
Artanis is going to be a hero in the game.
I was going to do that.
Better believe it. Eventually it was going to happen. But no, I mean, Brightwing is pretty cool. She polymorphs you, which turns you into a little animal. A squirrel, a crab, what else do we have?
A little piggy that runs around too.
Yeah, we saw that last game.
Pretty fun, pretty cute. And what I like about Brightwing too is that a lot of healers bring a lot of healing to the table. They heal up their teammates, but Brightwing's about damage mitigation. She brings in shields. She gets reduction on auto attacks that come your way. She also has that huge, beautiful piggy that she can put on people as well. So I love Brightwing. High mechanical skilled hero and one that Akaface pulls off so well.
Well, our next hero I think we wanted to talk about too was, I believe, Raynor. And this is what you were really excited about, Tim.
Raynor, I felt like, was the unsung hero in that last game there. Jimmy is a glorified cheerleader with a gun, man. He brings in a lot of auto attacks. He has an ability called Inspire there that literally increases the attack speed and the movement speed of his teammates around him with certain talents, and he can really just say, hey guys, let's move in and start taking people out. Of course, Adrenaline Rush makes it a little bit harder to take him out as well. So he's one of those heroes that's not as flashy. He's not going to do a lot of flips. He's not going to do anything crazy, but he will get the job done. And we saw that in the last game. So Jimmy Raynor, one of my favorites to play.
Oh, I definitely have to agree with you there. And you say he doesn't do anything crazy, but I have to counter that. He does some crazy damage.
That's true.
This guy definitely can top the charts as far as damage goes in the game. And he's pretty noob friendly, actually. If you start, I think he's like the one that you start with. I mean, that was thousands of games ago for me, so I'm having a hard time remembering, but pretty sure he was.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of these heroes as well where you just, as you get better, he gets better as well. He seems very simple, but you definitely can bring him up to the professional level as well.
Yeah,
he has both of his heroic abilities are also very viable. You know, usually we see more of the Hyperion, but in the last game, Raynor's Raiders came out, and because it's just like this direct single target damage, it could be very tough to stay in a fight without taking out those Banshees that are following you around, and we saw that even Chase missed completely out of a fight, so he couldn't help his teammates out.
Yeah, Mist and Claudius on Illidan. If you have a high priority target, you can grab those Banshees and put them on that target. But another hero that we should talk about, Tyrael, Tyrell we saw in the last game, and Tyrell is such a wonder to pick up. Eldruin's might, he throws the sword, he can teleport to it. He has righteousness as well, applies shields to all teammates that are near him, and he has a smite ability which gives movement speed, but also can be pretty damaging as he can chunk people down.
Yeah, he's kind of like a support, even though he is a frontline warrior, and we see a lot of sanctification as it does give invulnerability to anybody in your area for a few seconds, but sometimes we see judgment, which is always very fun to get to see since he just goes straight in for a target and stuns them out.
Yeah, you know, definitely that used to be what we always saw on Tyrell. For instance, if he was played here last year, I'm sure that that's what we would see from him, chosen as that heroic. But as you were saying, Trixler, definitely, you know, making your team invincible, it's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty solid. And of course, the last hero I want to talk about is Rhaegar. Rhaegar is someone that we actually haven't seen too much of in this series in particular, which I'm kind of confused at. Rhaegar has Chain Hail, Lightning Shield, and Earthbinding Totem, but I want to mention that Huge in particular plays a very strong Rhaegar. We've seen him on Brightwing, and we've seen him on Uther, and while he did well, Rhaegar is a hero that he just really excels at. I want to see more of it.
I want to see that too. That's something that we see a lot of from Huge, as you mentioned, throughout all of Heroes of the Dorm too. This is just, yes, Brightwing is his favorite that he says, but we see him way more often playing Rhaegar because that ancestral healing, the ability to just heal your teammate up so much has been very integral, and even busting out the bloodlust in one game in the round of pace.
There's that Rhaegar. Whoever's holding that up, kudos to you, helping us out with that. But yeah, Rhaegar's a great hero to pick up, especially when Huge is playing it, so I'd love to see him get drafted in the next round.
Well, you know, Rhaegar, one really cool thing about Rhaegar that I do want to kind of harp on a little bit is the fact that we have mounts in this game where, you know, you get to sit there for a second, you have to channel, you have to sit still without being attacked, and then suddenly you're on a horse and you're moving really, really quickly. Rhaegar is one of those heroes that doesn't have exactly a horse. He turns into a wolf, he runs very fast, but it's instantaneous. So maybe he's not as fast as a horse, but you can really get out of there. So a very good hero as well for new players.
I've got an announcement to make.
I love those.
I know what our next battleground is.
Ooh, okay.
It's going to be Infernal Shrines.
Oh, wow. All
Yeah.
right, Infernal Shrines, and that's a pickup again for UT Arlington. All right, we saw them on this map yesterday. They played pretty well on it. A battleground that requires a lot of coordination all the way through, and then of course a lot of fighting in the middle as those shrines do pop up, and you have a lot of minions that are spawning, so you're trying to fight for those. So I like it. They're bringing the fight to Arizona State in game number 3, so why not go out with a bang? If you do go out, of course.
Yeah, Infernal Shrines will be very great to see. I believe that's where we saw their no warrior composition. Whether or not that will work against Arizona State, though, especially since they've already seen it, I'm hoping that we have some sort of different strategy still for there from UT Arlington.
Yeah, you know, Infernal Shrines is one of our newest maps as well. Let's not forget it wasn't around last year at Heroes of the Dorm, so we'll definitely go into that a little bit more heavily as we go forward. But a very fun map with a very hard to fight against mechanic on the map, those Punishers.
All right, well, we are going to go down to Anna Prosser Robinson on the stage. Anna, how is it going?
Thank you, Tasteless. I am down here in what we're calling the college cheering section. I'm with Kevin He. Kevin, what is this? Who's sitting here?
So this is the college section. I have a bunch of TESPA chapter presidents and college fans of all the teams, and basically we're all here cheering for UTA. They're the underdog team, so we got to give them some love. And right now, we're all hoarse from cheering, but we're doing our best, hoping for that 3-0 comeback.
That team spirit is really showing on your face there. Now, you are also a TESPA chapter president. What does that mean, and what does TESPA do?
So to chapter presidents or club presidents like us, TESPA is an opportunity for us to do something really cool with the communities we have back home. For us, it's a way to build our fans, build our teams, and then, you know, with big tournaments like this, we can send them out, and then when it happens, like you see all the UTA fans out here, all of the ASU fans out here, it's a great opportunity to come together and just cheer for your school, cheer for your team, and show some love.
Yeah, we know why this event is important for our players. We have players like Shot, who is trying really hard to alleviate the burden on his family financially to get tuition. We have players like DXN, who's trying to do honor to his brother's memory by performing in esports because that was his brother's dream. But why is it important for you and for other TESPA members to experience events like this? What matters to you about these events?
Well, for us, we kind of know that the players have a lot on the line. I used to be a player myself. So I know how crazy it feels to be on the stage and, you know, fighting for your life, basically. So for us as club organizers, it means a lot to be able to create the communities that foster the growth of the players that can then go on to play. Like, you can't be a player without fans, and you can't be a player without a club to support you and a place to call home. So I guess that's what we're here for.
Well, and you are supporting UT Arlington very, very actively. This last game, they didn't look so good. They're going into game 3. What advice do you have for your team, UT Arlington, to make sure that they come out on top in game 3?
Well, to UT Arlington, you guys, there's no more time to practice. You know, there's no more room to build strategies. You guys got to believe in yourselves. We're all out here believing in the 3-0 reverse. I think you guys can do it. I think all the fans here also think you guys can do it. Just believe in yourselves, do your best, and know that we're all out here cheering for you as club presidents, as colleges.
Wise words. We'll see if they come to fruition as we go into game 3 of UT Arlington versus Arizona State in our grand finals of Heroes of the Dorm right after this.
Overwatch. Play the free open beta on PC and console May 5th. Rated T for teen.
Where am I?
You're wanted for treason.
I've always been loyal to the Dominion.
Rogue agent, send reinforcements immediately. All hands to battle stations.
Our scans show that your memories have been altered.
I miss the old days.
Shield generator test. Ready to...
I think you have something that belongs to me. Come on, buddy. It's time I showed you something.
I'm detecting intruders.
Talon, Athena, kill the lights.
Overwatch. Watch the full animated short at playoverwatch.com. Rated T for teen.
Now I've got a tale to tell you of the ones from long ago. There's an evil that's been dreaming, but now it's softly screaming. From the darkness, their power will grow. It's the whispers of the old gods.
It has begun. War is coming.
If we do not unite, our world will perish.
You might want to head home, big man.
Well then, we better get going.
We'll protect the kingdom. With this.
Warcraft, rated PG-13.
We are back with the Heroes of the Storm Grand Finals. This is a best of 5 right now. Arizona State with a 2-0 lead over UT Arlington. We will be going into our next game shortly here. But first, guys, what are your thoughts on what we're seeing so far here? I'm hoping for a comeback here from UT Arlington. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Arizona State is making an Arizona statement here with their play. They are, yeah, right. Yeah. They are up 2-0, and they are making it look easy. They're so close to winning tuition for their college careers. It's just crazy.
That they are, but there is good news. We just had a slight break here. UT Arlington got a chance here to grab their breath here, rethink their entire strategy. Arizona State on a momentum run, a little bit cooled off here now. So this is the moment where they make a stand. In fact, they have to, or we'll be seeing them go home.
Yeah, that's a great point that you make, Trixler. Just the fact that they can regroup and hopefully have somebody giving them a rally cry, probably use their captain and their leader, helping them say, okay, guys, yes, we're down 2 games. Yes, we have to win all 3 from here, but we can do this. We can win this still.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to be going into game number 3, UT Arlington against Arizona State, pretty quickly here. But first, let's talk a little bit more about the players here on these teams. Let's go ahead and start with UT Arlington. I got to ask you, Gilly, who are we going to talk about here?
I really want to talk about Mist from UT Arlington, and that is because Mist is a player that has been getting picked on a little bit in the draft from Arizona State. The fact that they've been banning out the Zagara, as you can see here, clearly his favorite hero to play, and he was making a lot of plays with her. We've seen him play Zool now, and maybe that's somebody that he hasn't been as comfortable with, but still, the fact that he is able to, he seems like he's okay and comfortable now, flexing for the camera. But when he filled out his survey, I really wanted to point out that he said that winning tuition would prove to his parents that video game playing can be as serious as any other job, and he has proven so much here, coming in and getting all the way to the grand finals.
And I think Mist is a great player too. I think it's actually not his fault he's getting picked off so much. He's playing a role that he's meant to move in there and be an engager for. The rotations are just a little bit off for UT Arlington. Get together and allow Mist to do his thing here, and they can be just fine.
You know, I really feel for Mist here with what you're saying, trying to prove to his parents that this can be a job. I think we've all been through this at one point or another, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, so looking over, though, at ASU, Arizona State here, you know, you were talking a lot about that Rainer play, right, on FAM?
Fam is an unsung hero too, just like Jimmy here, Rainer. Fam has been playing so well throughout the entire tournament. He's been getting in the aggression that he needs to, really helping out, especially on that Li Ming hero, but he's not really called out so much as a flashy player. He does the things that are necessary to anchor his team. That's what I would call Fam, an anchor on an assassin player. He gets in there, he applies the damage where needed, make sure he doesn't die. So Sonya from Michael Udall could be aggressive, or of course Shock can get in there and really occur a lot of fights here. You'll see Fam sit in the background. He does such a good job at it. He really brings the team together.
Maybe an unsung hero here of the team then.
But we're going to sing about him. Let's do it.
Well, let's talk about our map. It's going to be Infernal Shrines, a fantastic battleground for these guys to duke it out on. Trixer, why don't you tell our viewers at home how this map operates and what we should be expecting?
Sure, Infernal Shrines, one of my personal favorites. I love this battleground because there is so much action going on, a lot of team fighting occurring, and of course Punishers that come in and really just ruin your day. It is a 3-lane battleground, one that you're going to have to rotate around a lot, make sure you have control a little bit, and here it is, the Infernal Shrines and all of its purple glory. Red and blue will be the action going on here, but you see the 3 lanes, top, middle, and bottom. There are these shrines that will spawn that have 3 different type of Punishers that will come into the play, but here are mercenary camps. There are a total of 5. If you grab those mercenary camps, they will push down the lanes for you and get that infrastructure killed off that gives you experience and of course that pressure. And here are the shrines. You'll see a blue, a purple one, and a red one. They all have different Punishers that pop out and have different functions. This one in particular actually is the molten one. It will shoot out fire at the opponents and really kind of break them down. Here's the ice one, freezing any heroes that get caught in those blasts. And here is the Arcane Punisher. He is so deadly and he loves taking out heroes. The Punishers are such a thing to deal with that teams will have to draft for that.
Well, speaking of the draft, I think we should probably jump into it because definitely a battleground where you need to play it differently, choose different heroes to make sure that you have that advantage. Here we go.
Game number 3, do or die here for UT Arlington, Arizona State as well on the right side. Zagara, the immediate pick here. Once again, that focus on mist seems to be a factor here for Arizona State. UT Arlington taking away Falstad.
We have yet to see different bans from these teams. Zagara banned by Arizona State, Falstad banned by UT Arlington, and now Arizona State will have first pick. Do they grab Li Ming? Do they grab Illidan? Sonya once again.
Wow, a big pickup there for Michael Udall. He was just fantastic on her before, and I gotta say, she's great on this Battleground.
Yeah, Sonya has a natural built-in passive to herself where she kind of doesn't want to go too as aggressive like Illidan, and really Michael Udall is just at home on this hero, getting those engages, bringing in the damage, having the support of Akaface on Brightwing. Not a bad pickup whatsoever if you're an Arizona State fan.
One of the big priorities for teams on Infernal Shrines is heroes who can do area damage, so you can try to take out as many of the defenders on the shrines at once, maybe even stealing them away from your opponents. But here we see UT Arlington grabbing Rhaegar. We're going to finally see Yuge play that hero.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Here's UTA getting back to their roots, playing the heroes that they're comfortable on. Rhaegar is a wonderful hero for Yuge, so again, I can't wait to see him pull it out in this map.
Well, Rhaegar definitely can do a lot of area of effect damage as well. Going to be a good help, and picking up Thrall right afterwards. I'm glad that they're not going to let their opponents have both Thrall and Sonya again in this game.
Thrall's a wonderful pickup against Sonya as well. The Sundering being able to go to toe-to-toe her as well, just as powerful in terms of damage, and he also has the added perk of being able to heal himself when he gets in a few auto attacks. So great pickup here for UT Arlington, starting out strong already.
I want to point out that this is their tournament life on the line. If ever there was a time to pull out a crazy strategy from the mad scientist mind of Cladius, now is the time. But for now, they have their 2 picks. We'll see 2 more picks from Arizona State, starting off with Vala before we go into the next set of bans.
A great damage dealer with range in Vala, and then one of these up-close fighters in Zeratul. This guy is cloaked for most of the game. You can't see him, he's invisible, so he can sneak up on you and deal a lot of damage out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's got strong heroics as well, but we saw Shot play more of a passive Zeratul yesterday, so we'll see if that will be occurring. Cho'Gall has actually been banned out here, by the way. That is a hero that UT Arlington plays often.
I was pretty sure that is what they were going for, was the Cho'Gall. Rhaegar can help with the healing on him, and that would be the crazy strategy that they need. But if that's what they were going for, it has been sniffed out by Arizona State, and now with those bans set up, what does UT Arlington come out with next?
Well, it's pretty tough, but it looks like they will go into Tassadar here. That's going to give a lot of support onto Thrall.
Tassadar the pickup. I would also love to see a little bit more damage here from UT Arlington. We'll be seeing that a little bit later on, but you know, someone that can really help bring in the impact. The hero that kind of maybe jumps out for me a little bit, maybe some Greymane, maybe some Jaina here. Oh, there's actually a Greymane right away, so nice. Tassadar being able to bring in those shields. Greymane, whenever there does become a breaking point, can dive in, go into that Worgen form, and really just clean up house.
They only have 1 choice left, but for now we're going to see the final picks. Here we can see Greymane. Curse of the Worgen means that he can go into Worgen form, and when he does so, his basic attacks deal 40% more damage. So of course that's what you would like to be in, but you're very vulnerable. You don't gain any health or anything, so you really have to make sure that you're going into that form at the right point, or you can get caught out very easily.
Well, there's go for the heroic that allows you to really jump in right away and bite people to death. It's really, really quick. And of course, if you do get that kill, you get a reset as well. So you can have 2 potential go for the throats. So you'll see Greymane really be decisive and go in for that engagement whenever available to them. But of course, they need to make sure that the 2 heroes are jumping on are low on health. You want to make sure you get that reset.
Yeah, you have to soften up the opposing team first. Now, with Uther as their main support, that's going to be pretty tough to kill anybody.
Yeah, it will be tough now because he provides Divine Shield, 3 seconds of invulnerability to somebody who is low at that point. But if they're able to catch the person in time and take them out before Uther can get there for the Divine Shield, that will be key. Finally, we see ETC as the frontline warrior to round out the composition for Arizona State.
Get ready to rock. ETC brings the engagers they would love to have, paired as well with Sonya, as well as Uther's Divine Shield, bringing in that mosh pit, making everyone dance. A wonderful composition here for Arizona State. They are ready to brawl.
Certainly are. ETC, a great hero. He's going to be able to control everything in these fights for his team, but if he does get blown up, I think that Greymane is going to be able to finish off just about everybody.
Yeah, that's the good news here for UT Arlington. There's a lot of squishy targets here. Even ETC, even though he's relatively tanky and has his own heals, he can be picked apart pretty quickly when you're softening them up. So UT Arlington does have the damage, and Greymane cleanup potential could be great for them, especially with Thrall Sundering. Now, they will need a 5th hero here, Pick Illidan, says the crowd. Gonna possibly need another warrior here for UT Arlington.
Right, they still want to have a frontline hero of their own. With Muradin banned and ETC picked, they're potentially looking at Johanna, but we've also seen Tyrael come out too. There's still even the potential for Diablo, but no warrior! Once again, no warrior composition for Infernal Shrines from UT Arlington.
UT Arlington being the crowd favorites here, picking Illidan just for the crowd, it looks like, but they are running a warrior-less comp here. It means they're going to be getting engagements, and they're going to have to win team fights up front.
Pick Illidan indeed.
Gosh,
it's happening.
Okay, so tell me, what, with this team composition, does UT Arlington need to do to win this, to make this a 1-2 and not a 3-0 with Arizona State taking it all?
They need to kill Arizona State over and over and over. They have so much damage. They're all about team fighting with this composition, completely different from the last 2 games. They've switched it up. I love it. They're taking this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at Thrall and Greymane in particular here. They're going to need to soften up Arizona State, and they have a lot of squishy, so it will be easy to soften them up. And then Illidan to come in for the cleanup crew and really win those team fights. It's going to be hard, but it can be done.
Yeah, they want to fight and fight and fight, and Tassadar as well as Rhaegar are going to help enable that. But we can take a look at the heat map and see where the fighting will be going down, as we have a heat map for Infernal Shrine specifically. Now, these show all of the player deaths that have happened throughout Heroes of the Dorm. And as you can see in this center area where the shrines all will pop up, one in the top, one in the center, and then in the bottom. That's where we're going to be seeing a majority of the fighting take place, as well as in the lanes where the Punisher will start to push down.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Even though you can be killed on the right or left side of the map, it does seem to really focus in the center. I think primarily because the map objective is surrounding that area, and that's where if you're going to fight, you better pick it there. So pretty cool stuff. Interesting to see things like that. And I believe we are moments away from getting this started. Are you guys having fun out there?
I think they are, Tasteless.
It sounds like it, at least.
Well, that's good, because our game is loaded up, so get ready. We are going to be going to this very shortly. I'm super excited. Does anybody here think Arizona State is still going to take it?
I mean,
no.
I've been thinking it since around 64, but gosh, I want to see more games here. I'm just going to keep rooting for UT Arlington, and I think they have a composition here that if they don't get bodied like they did in the early game in game number 2, they can make it worse. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to throw myself out there. UT Arlington, game number 3, they got this.
They listened to us. They're playing their own game because we saw this yesterday in the semifinals, so we know this is their thing. We'll see if they can pull it off versus Arizona State.
All right, let's do this, guys. This is game number 3, UT Arlington versus Arizona State.
On the left side in the blue, needing this victory, we have Cladius on Illidan, Yuge on Rhaegar, Mist on Thrall, DXN on Tassadar, and here on Greymane.
Give it up for UT Arlington!
And on the right, in the red, looking to close this out, we have Michael Udall on Sonya, Snickers on ETC, Bam on Bala, Shot on Zeratul, and Akaface on Uther.
Let's make some noise for Arizona State!
And here we go, a fight right to start this off. Cladius taking so much damage, he gets blown up. Not a good start for UT Arlington.
Cladius, a primary target, being picked off immediately there. You gotta be a little careful, because Snickers will be that hero that will constantly power slide and try to lock him down.
All right, I mean, that doesn't bode well necessarily, but you can come back from this, I don't think, with too much problems.
Yeah, not the strongest start here for UT Arlington, but of course, just get to lanes, get back to holding it down. But look at this.
Wow. It looks like people are thinking that ASU gonna take it, but guys, get out there. Hashtag Heroes of the Dorm. Let us know what you think. I think it's a smart vote to hashtag vote UTA right here, but I guess you could hashtag vote ASU.
You certainly could, Tasteless. Well, the aggression has begun once again, and Claudius is getting picked on already. Shot, and Michael Udall looking to break him down, but Claudius does retreat. Now Snickers and Fam holding down the middle of the battleground as both teams are rotating.
They are indeed, and you know, I want to see if they can actually soak enough experience here because they have a fighting composition. If the lanes get pushed too far, though, they aren't going to be able to find their opponents.
Yeah, looking at UT Arlington, they love to rotate, but they seem to always get the bitter end here. But here's another engagement. Fam is in trouble, and now UT Arlington strikes Blood, getting a takedown. 4 members in trouble. Gonna rotate away.
Excellent play. That was the kind of moves we needed to see from UT Arlington. Aggression and punishment at any mistakes that Arizona State make here. And it looks like they're off to a good start with that. Also, the Shrine is activating actually right now here at the top center of the map. So there is going to be a race to get up there and try to get as many of these, kill these little monsters we see up here as possible. If they get up to 40, they're going to get their own Punisher. The Punisher is insane and can push down a lane. It's got a mind of its own, and it's a very scary thing to have when it's coming at you.
Well, right now, we actually do have UT Arlington controlling that Shrine. Cure is up here on Greymane. Normally, actually, their warrior player, you know, that hero with a lot of health, being in the front lines instead, taking this damage. But here we go. We do have a fight starting.
It's interesting how UT Arlington is positioning. They're trying to bait the engagements, and Claudius comes in from the right to try to get in. But Snickers has been doing a really good job of keeping an eye of where Illidan is, because this is the main breaker of the entire team top for UT Arlington.
Looks like we should be having a fight coming up pretty soon here. And in fact, they do slide in. Miss taking a lot of damage, trying to back out. But will he be blown up? Yes, he will. And the first hero to go down in this battle is Thrall.
Snickers and Akaface working together well here, bringing in the power slide that stuns multiple heroes, and then Akaface makes a decision. Who do I stun here? And then they all jump and pounce on that hero. And there we saw it was Thrall.
Right now, we do have Michael Udall going ahead and clearing out a lot of these monsters. He's going to be able to win that Shrine for his team, but it's okay. This is not the end of the world.
Again, if you're just now joining us here on ESPN2, it's important to note this is a 3-lane map. You have these defensive structures that are there to protect your core. You can push those lanes and destroy those defensive structures, and if you manage to do that and take out your opponent's core, you can win the game. And speaking of which, we have a Punisher here for ASU. This is going to be very difficult for UT Arlington to deal with.
The Punisher is so strong, going up, attacking the gates, jumping over, hitting into DXN. Kier jumps up, coming to his allies' defense.
This is the best way to take out the big bad Punisher. Make him jump into the fort. Allow your structures to do the battling for you, especially in early games. So UT Arlington actually defends that perfectly. Nice play by them.
That's about as quickly as you can kill a Punisher. So
quick.
if I'm UT Arlington here, I'm not really too worried about this game quite yet.
So now the main objective for UT Arlington is to get back in levels here. They're a little bit behind, but grabbing the experience, grabbing mercenary camps are the best choice of doing that.
If we can draw our attention to the bottom of the screen here, we see UT Arlington's team is at level 6, whereas Arizona State's at level 7. Each level your team goes up, you become more powerful, and in some cases get more abilities. If we see a team get to level 10, then we're going to get their heroic abilities, and those are the real game changers. Right now, Arizona State slightly ahead in that race.
And I like what Snickers and Akaface were doing there. They were handling these fog areas here, being bush bookies, if you will, really sitting there waiting for their opponents to walk into them, and they stun them out.
Well, no one walked in that time. We'll see if that works for them later on, but both teams kind of trying to grab some mercenary camps, getting these big, strong minions to help them push the lanes like you see here.
All right, Akaface getting some pressure in the middle, and we see right below here, the bottom left, there is some mercenaries being grabbed. Shot in a little bit of trouble here as he's trying to get with DXN, but DXN playing Tassadar there, really can't go toe-to-toe in terms of damage, but he can stay alive. He decides to go ahead and retreat, while the rest of Arizona State is kind of rotating up here, getting more pressure, and are going to move in to potentially steal these mercenary camps.
Ooh, kind of a sneaky move here from Arizona State, seeing what they can get done, but...
Looks like Mista did spot them down there. They may regroup and try to come up to top now.
Yeah, fittingly standing in that mist, in fact, where they cannot see him.
That's right. That's how you can sneak up on your opponent. We all see Michael Udall now hiding over here on the right center. And it looks like, are they going to engage? Are they going to try to go for a steal?
They are. Everyone's coming in right now, and we should be having a team fight. Michael Udall jumps in. Cure getting blown up in a matter of seconds. Gladius jumps in, but too much damage and has to back out.
Huge steal there for Arizona State, taking out those mercenaries in their opponent's territory. That's going to make a very strong push up here at the top lane.
Arizona State really bringing that confidence here in game number 3, going over to the opposing side and really taking away the mercenary camps and getting a kill. Arizona State looks unstoppable right now.
What a fantastic job by Arizona State. Now they have a gigantic push in this lane. 2 sets of mercenaries that have to be cleared out. And in the meantime, this middle shrine is active. Michael Udall clearing out those monsters.
And the rest of the members pushing in the top lane. This is a 2-front assault here as we have Fam and the rest of his team trying to break down this infrastructure, not wanting to fight unless they get into a really good engagement. And while we do have Udall clearing at those minions, so they get towers here, which is experience, and they get the Punisher, which is so helpful for pushing down the middle lane.
And also, you know, it's Arizona State not overextending there. They identified, they did as much damage as they could. Now time to come back. They're going to get this last kill on this monster, and that's going to bring out another Punisher for Arizona State.
A big deal for them, but it looks like a fight is actually going to go down. Huge being taken out in a matter of seconds, and now it is a 5 versus 4 with Arizona State at the advantage.
And look at this, we've got a split push, top lane coming in hard, but down here at the bottom, the Punisher is doing so much damage, it's going to be really difficult for UT Arlington to cover this with a 4-on-5 right now.
It is going to be difficult, but there is good news. UT Arlington did hit level 10, and they haven't actually picked up their hooks. There they are. We have the Hunt and Ancestor healing here. So a normal composition here for UT Arlington. They can get an engagement, and Claudius hunting into the top left.
It's time for a fight right now, and it looks like Fam taking a ton of damage. Here, though, taking a lot as well. Oh, missing that Ancestral healing.
How unfortunate, and Arizona State will take the opportunity. They'll continue to keep pushing here, bringing in more pressure. They won't be able to take a fort or a keep here, but they love the ability to be able to keep pushing in. We have all members spawning in 10 seconds for UT Arlington. They should be able to come defend, especially with Udall being low.
Udall is getting low indeed. In fact, Huge coming out to try to chase a bit. If they could get a kill here, that would be really great.
Well, we already see the top lane has been pushed in pretty far here. Now, that's going to be very annoying for UT Arlington because not only do they not have defense up there, but they don't have vision. I mean, keep in mind, for those of you watching at home that don't play the game, you can't see where your opponent's moving unless you're close to them. So that gives a lot of, kind of cloudy area up there for Arizona State to sneak through to possibly ambush UT Arlington later on.
I do want to note the early game has not looked great for UT Arlington, but they're actually in a relatively good state here. In fact, they're getting confident here. They're pushing in. Shot gets picked here really quick. He's able to teleport away, but the Hunt, the follow-up, Udall is going to get caught there, but the rest of the team is starting to retreat away, and it's actually a 3v5. We have UT Arlington in a good spot here. Fam taking some damage as well, will be forced to retreat, but I like the aggression from Arlington.
UT Arlington was really trying to kill off one of their opponents there to have that 5 versus 4 advantage, but it just didn't come together for them. They'll continue to try things like that throughout the game, and every time they do get a kill, they are going to be in a lead.
Arizona State moving towards level 13. The shrines are now spawning in the very top. We'll see everyone start to maneuver their way up there. But at the moment, UT Arlington trying to get their own level 13, trying to get their heroics up. And luckily, even though Illidan just used the Hunt with a couple of auto attacks, he's gotten it back already.
Well, it looks like right now that top shrine is starting up. We have some bush hiding here. They're sitting there trying to catch someone off guard. Shot takes some damage, but not enough to go down.
I like this. They're fishing. They're looking for an opportunity to pick somebody up, because that's how you get back in the game. Little pickoffs here and there.
Yeah, they're proving that they're not robots here, that they actually waited to see if they could get an ambush. Miss, could have been in a bad spot. Miss goes around this corner here, escapes. Claudius comes back to see if they can't try to target Shot. Now remember, Shot's hero is cloaked. You can see a little bit of a blur on the map, but he reveals himself when he attacks, as you can see there. And Shot, good job, just blinking away across the gate.
Sean is actually buying a lot of time for his teammates to be up here, killing all the monsters on the shrine. If they win this one, this is in the weak lane of UT Arlington.
This isn't the first time we've seen Arizona State use this strategy about baiting UT Arlington into a chase, while meanwhile Arizona State, for instance, is going to start dominating the map objectives.
We see UT Arlington coming up here, and I think this is the moment where they make a stand. This Punisher, if it goes to Arizona State, it's going to be devastating. It will push into their keep. So you see all of UT Arlington moving up here, trying to find someone they can poke off.
Everyone is up right now. All heroics are up as well. A big battle for sure about to happen.
All right, Huge looking around. Watch Kira in the top left corner. He is in a bit of an odd position, but he's got his teammates there. A huge Void Prison goes down. Claudius has been marked off.
Yeah, Claudius is locked out for the time being. It looks like UT Arlington going to try to engage. Snickers getting low, and it's going to be a lot more damage. Michael Udall trying to rotate around here, and it looks like Bam goes down. Next target should be Snickers. No, Akapace taking it down now too, and Michael Udall has been trapped. No, he manages to escape.
Just barely making out of there. Snickers sliding back out. They are turning a bit, but in a 3 versus 5 scenario, they cannot win a fight.
Oh, but meanwhile, the Punisher was activated for Arizona State, and he is heading down here, trying to make it towards that core. This might allow Arizona State for another possible comeback engage.
Arizona State is trying to distract UT Arlington, but they're having none of it, picking off another member. Snickers in trouble as well, and UT Arlington is showing life.
Big plays here by UT Arlington, wiping out basically the entire team of Arizona State. They are easily now going to be able to deal with this Punisher, as it has no help from Arizona State's team.
Winning that team fight gives UT Arlington the chance to deal with that Punisher. It actually doesn't go for the keeps too heavily. It goes for heroes. So that is a good sign there for Arlington. And they actually go ahead in the level here. First time in the entire series, they're beating Arizona State.
They are indeed, but let's not forget that top keep is pretty low. It took a lot of damage from the Punisher. So if they mess up, if everyone ends up dying, there's a chance that they're going to lose that keep.
As a reminder, guys, the longer the game goes on, obviously the higher your level will be, but the higher your level is, the longer the death timer is. If you're killed off in a game, you might have to wait up to 50, 60 seconds, a long time before you can respawn and get back in the action. So with that broken top lane there for UT Arlington, if Arizona State wins tremendously a big team fight, they could try to push in there and possibly close it out.
Right now, we do have Arizona State pushing over, seeing if they can get a good engagement, but very nice scouting here by UT Arlington, checking out that their opponents are coming and moving out of the way. They want to fight, but they want to fight on their own terms.
And I like what UT Arlington did there. They played a little bit safe till they got to level 16, and immediately they started looking around for an opportunity to hop on Arizona State, but Arizona State is playing so safe. From the top lane, they're soaking with one member. The other 4 members on the bottom right. And also, they're soaking with the safest member they have on their team, Zeratul. He can blink away, and of course, he's stealth.
He's invisible, and he's standing in a bush where you can't see him. So he's definitely very safe for the time being. But it looks like Arlington going to push in against this 4.
I love it. This is what you got to do here. You have an advantage. Push it somewhere. They're going for the fort, but we do have the rest of the team for Arizona State trying to come around.
Uh-oh, looks like Shot's going to come in here. They do manage to chase him out. By the way, solid defense there from Arizona State. Bruised but not beaten back there. They still have the defensive structures remaining.
All 5 heroes up on both sides, all heroics ready as well. A slight experience advantage for UT Arlington, and those shrines are activating in 10 seconds.
And let's not forget, if UT Arlington can get to level 20, that's going to be another big game changer. They're going to really be able to buff their abilities here, and that's going to be a moment that maybe UT Arlington will stall out the game for until they get to that point to then fight Arizona State at.
I would argue this moment right here is probably the biggest turning point for both teams. They're on even footing, 16 to 16, a Punisher up. Whoever wins this team fight could grab a few more infrastructures and potentially win the game, but a missed sundering, that is actually huge, and Arizona State takes the opportunity and charges in.
Claudius taking quite a bit of damage. He's got to stay alive here. Does end up jumping out. We do have that Void Prism going down, freezing a few of these heroes, and this is just madness.
Heroics missing left and right. A huge ancestral, but there's a mosh pit. A nice pickup there for Clint for Huge, and now Miss trying to get in, but Miss is taken out. Arizona State fighting back.
Claudius maybe overextending here. Claudius goes down. Kira now taking the damage low. Kira hops over, gets a kill for himself over there, taking out the team's Vela. Akaface in pursuit. Michael Udall tries to come in. Shot low on HP, but manages to get back. And Kira, but Akaface also so low.
Kira can deal a lot of damage though. Can he blows him up? No, he dies first. Huge goes down as well, and DXN is going to have to run. It looks like Arizona State turning. They might be going for a victory here.
An all-out brawl. You see Arizona State moving up. I think all they could get here is the keep, because there will be people spawning in about 20 seconds, but they could charge forward to the core. Players are getting healed up. Tassadar is still alive. He can provide shields. The core is now taking damage.
Will they be able to get this core? Michael Udall shot. Akaface, Snickers all on the core right now. They're trying to kill it if they can. 3 heroes about to resurrect, but a lot of damage going down.
All right, they've got 1 player back in the game, but the core is hurting her so much damage. Keep in mind, Arizona State very low on HP. Shot taking damage. Shot Shot may go down. Shot goes down. It's 2 right now in the core. The core getting lower. Snickers. Michael Udall still there. And it looks like
the core is still low, but Michael Udall is about to go. And they wipe.
UT Arlington holds, and now they will push across the middle of the field here. Grab the Punisher, but remember, they are down to 24% life here on the core. At any point, Arizona State could sneak by and win the game.
That's right. They're going to have to be very careful with how they handle this. 15 seconds now for the next spawn here from Arizona State. They're going to have to really try to pull it together right now because the map is in complete control right now for UT Arlington.
Such a clutch save, but as you were saying, Trixler, that core is so badly damaged. We'll see. Can Arlington actually take this momentary advantage and turn it into something bigger?
They're going to have to control the battleground and control the shrines, and they're starting to do that here. The first Punisher awarded to UT Arlington will now group up with the other 5 members and start heading down the middle of the map. And guess what? They're almost to level 20.
They are so close to level 20 right now, and if they get that advantage, it is a big one indeed. As soon as they get level 20, they are going to want to fight, and they want to kill everyone on Arizona State.
They're breaking down the gates. The Punisher dealing a lot of damage here on the ground, actually locking Snickers on the ground there for a little bit. Looks like they tried to focus him down here. Snickers now starting to take some damage as
well.
The
fourth wall.
Certainly as Snickers blows up. Gladius dealing tons of damage. Jumps on top of Michael Udall as well.
Gladius moving forward. A Void Prison goes down. The rest of the team does turn around, but the Void Prison will come out here. A huge ancestral. Akaface in trouble. Kier keeping up with the aggression here. Can they take Akaface? They do!
Akaface goes down. Michael Udall in the middle of everything. Kier backs up. Does stay alive. They take down this keep as well. And UT Arlington has turned this game on its head.
Shot in trouble. The rest of the team starting to pull back now. Remember, there are catapults hitting the core back home right now, so it looks like UT Arlington is going to retreat, but they've got level 20. They've got to keep down in the middle, and they are now fighting back for their tournament life.
Talk about punishment back there when Arizona State was just going at the core. UT Arlington managed to carve a hole all the way across the map in middle lane, which is, by the way, the quickest way to get to the core, and can still try to punish that. But you're right. They got to clean up this mess up here and push their wave of minions further ahead so that they can actually have a lot of safety here, because as you both were saying earlier, it's very easy for one player from Arizona State UT Arlington isn't looking to sneak over and then just go directly on the core and damage it, and that could be a very embarrassing and brutal way for UT Arlington to lose. So they're going to have to be hyper vigilant about that.
This is where UT Arlington has to force another fight right now. Everyone is up, and most of the heroic abilities are up for UT Arlington. They have this advantage of level 20 against level 19. If they can find Arizona State, they will try to kill everyone and win the game.
And they're doing that now, sneaking around, jumping in the bush. A bush party here is right above Arizona State. They want to take them out before they hit level 20. Miss will lead the charge here. Shot actually just teleported here. Where is the Sundering? I would love to see it. A Void Prison comes out. Shot low on HP, but the Void Prison comes out. He comes in. Oh no! He gets bursted down. The Sundering will come out as well, but Arizona State gets a takedown.
That may have been a big mistake there by Gladius to lose his life, jumping in, trying to kill off Shot and not getting that kill. They are now behind 4 against 5.
And I don't think that it would be wise for UT Arlington to try to take the Shrine 4v5. Which means Arizona State most certainly will be able to get it, and that's going to be another powerful push. So it's going to be UT Arlington on the defense for a little bit here, and in fact, they're looping around through that dark area where UT Arlington can't see, but UT Arlington with good game sense is there to meet him.
All right, they knew this was coming, and they are here to stop it. Snickers jumps in, doesn't really get a very good mosh pit there. Akaface taking lots of damage, but they are going for the core.
Illidan isn't here for 15 seconds. The damage now on the core. DXN trying to play shields. Akaface low on HP, but the core is going down. It's going to be
GG! Arizona State, your champions! They are the heroes of the dorm!
Oh my gosh, that was an intense final game. UT Arlington trying to come back, bringing up their best strategies, bringing out their best play of the tournament, but not able to stop these guys.
Arizona State proving why they've been strong throughout the entire tournament. Gonna win it all. Gilly, what do you got to say about it?
Arizona State never dropped a game. The entire Heroes of the Dorm. They got second last year. They said there is no way we don't win this year, and they have proven that today.
Just fantastic play. It is a rare thing in esports or any sports indeed to win an entire season, an entire tournament without dropping a single game, but they have done it here tonight.
Look at how happy they are on the stage, and they deserve it, man. They put in the work. They came from 2015. 2016 is a big year for them, so well done, Arizona State. A huge congratulations from us.
Wow, I mean, just really impressive games. These guys were untouchable, very adaptable, able to read their opponents. It was a beautiful thing. Congratulations to them. An emotional moment here as we are crowning our champions, man, the Arizona State.
It should be emotional, Tasteless. These guys are the champions. They really deserve it. They came in with the confidence to win and showed that they are the best Heroes of the Storm players in North America.
And from here, college tuition. They can continue the education, and all free for them now. Big deal.
We've been so hype about those games and how well they play, but yeah, I mean, college tuition covered now. That's not so bad. I'll take that. Damn.
Indeed. A huge victory. I mean, the prize purse on this for some of these players that are early on in their college careers still is gigantic. This is going to save them so much money and hopefully allow them to play more Heroes of the Storm instead of get a part-time job.
All right, let's go down to the stage where Anna is to meet with Arizona State. Anna, how are they feeling?
They're feeling pretty good, I think, Tasteless. I think you're feeling great. I know after coming in second last year, you have worked for this entire year. Mike, how does it feel to look out on this audience and know you accomplished your goal?
It feels so good. I mean, we worked so hard. The guys, we all put in a lot of work, and it just feels so good to finally have the confetti go off and I can, play in it, you know?
You didn't drop a single game, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know.
Shot, I know that this was important to you because winning tuition is really going to take a burden off you and off of your family. Your mom is in the audience. What do you want to say to Mama Shot?
Mom, you ought to pay. I got you.
Mama Shot, come on up and give him a hug. We'll give you a hug, Shot. Hugs from the audience. Now, guys, this is not...
She won't let me hug my mom.
We'll have time for hugs. Don't worry. We'll take a break right now, and when we come back, we will have the awards presentation. The medals will go around your neck, and we will be right back after this.
Warcraft, rated PG-13.
Now I've got a tale to tell you of the ones from long ago. There's an evil that's been dreaming, but now it's softly screaming. From the darkness, their power will grow. It's the whispers of the old gods.
There was a time long ago when I fell under the influence of treachery and darkness. I now go into battle, redeemed by the purifying power of the light. I am Lady Liadra, and when I shine the light's wrath upon you, there will be nowhere to hide.
Heroes of the Dorm is brought to you by the all-new Audi A4. This weekend only, play all heroes free, rated T.
And we are back here in the Heroes of the Dorm. Congratulations to Arizona State. Strategically, mechanically, they just had it. Artosis, how do you feel about these results?
I mean, I really didn't think that they would 3-0 because UT Arlington is so strong, but is anyone going to be able to stop them next year? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I have no idea. You know, I'm not one to cry, but I think Gillyweed threw some fairy dust in my eye or something because I teared up a little bit when Shot was getting emotional, man. That was such a great moment.
I did as well, man. It's emotional seeing a team win their college tuition from this event. I felt the same way.
Let's go ahead and throw it to the main stage where Anna is. Anna, how are our champions feeling?
They are feeling pretty good. Their parents are dancing in the aisles for them. And I know we have had some tears already on stage and lots of hugs. Michael Udall, you didn't drop a single game in this tournament. What do you have to say to all of your friends back at school?
We did it. I just want to give a huge shout out to ASU and all of our fans and our supporters, the athletics department at ASU. They've been great. They hooked it up. They gave us jerseys. They've been super supportive. Like, we did this for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arizona State. Let's keep that going. And now, we have a special treat and honor for you guys as our Heroes of the Dorm Champions 2016. Joining us on stage from Blizzard Entertainment are executive producer Chris Siggety, game director Dustin Browder, and co-founder and CEO of Blizzard Entertainment, Mike Morheim.
Thanks, Anna. For our sophomore year of Heroes of the Dorm, we could not have asked for a more exciting and talented lineup of teams to root for. This year, we had thousands of students from almost 400 schools competing in Heroes of the Dorm. We saw some amazing battles, some last-minute comebacks, and some big upsets. But there can be only one championship team. Congratulations, Arizona State. You guys were amazing throughout the entire tournament. You guys didn't drop a single map. You kept your cool in team fights, you crushed a lot of enemy cores, and most importantly, you have won free tuition for for the rest of your college careers. Today, Arizona State has one more great team to be proud of. All of us at Blizzard are honored to present you with these epic custom medallions to commemorate your victory. Once again, congratulations to Arizona State, the real dream team, on becoming the 2016 Heroes of the Dorm.
This has been a pleasure and such an honor to spend this time with all of our teams this weekend. I know you guys have enjoyed it, and I certainly have too. I'll be signing off from the stage now because I get to now hang out with the 2016 Heroes of the Dorm champions. Back to you, Tasteless.
All right, great job, Anna. Wow. So, just dominating Arizona State. I am blown away. They are on another level.
You know, I think that these games that they played were so well done that players all across the country and the world are really going to study them going forward.
Yeah, when it came down to even the last game, Arizona State just had it under control. We had the huge fight that was happening from UT Arlington, the hunt in, but they immediately just evaporated the Illidan right there. They just knew what to do in every scenario.
I would love if we could get to see a few highlights from our grand finals today, seeing exactly what Arizona State was able to do to win a 3-0 victory in the best of 5 over UT Arlington, winning tuition for their college career. It's been really fantastic to get to just see them come all the way through Heroes of the Dorm, guys, all the way from the round of 64.
And completely untouchable as well. I got to say, it's really impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing what the state of esports is going to be at Arizona State, as well as some of these other schools that are competing in here, like UT Arlington, because there's a lot of potential. We've seen, universities support more traditional sports teams. We've seen them support chess, debate, but this is another intellectual activity. Esports really does reward those who plan, those who prepare, and those who execute.
And you know what? What we saw there was Michael Udall thanking a lot to his university, Arizona State, for being so supportive. So definitely one of those schools that's going to lead the charge into esports, becoming more and more legitimate.
Let's go and take a look at the highlights from today's games. Trickster, Gilly, you want to take us through this one?
Sure. Here on the first Battleground on Blackheart's Bay, UT Arlington started out the game relatively well, looking like they could take a couple of matches here, really taking out Arizona State, but Arizona State with the comebacks, hitting the middle of the game here, just evaporating people left and right here. Huge fell here as well as Mist. They just learned how to pick apart their opponents.
Right, they started to turn this around, going after Mist too. Mist was on Zool for the first 2 games, and they showed even in the drafts that they were trying to go after, just taking out some of the heroes that UT Arlington felt the most comfortable on. And man, the Li Ming plus the Illidan just made it so difficult for UT Arlington to deal with Arizona State. Bam, playing safely, but still, when she was ready, when she had started to get the resets for her abilities, being able to teleport in and start getting those really, really big kills for her team.
And this was my favorite part, when they showed us that they understood how to take the game and win it. Here they won a quick team fight, and it looked like they would potentially move on to grab more coins here, get a turn in, or maybe grab a boss. But the moment they take out another hero, they decided to make the decision here. All right, DXM is done. None of you chase Cure here. Go for the middle of the map and take the game here. Snickers got a little risky there, but nonetheless, he still pushed forward. And then we went to game number 2, where it just seemed like Arizona State was just playing dominant here. We saw some flashes here and there from UT Arlington, but Arizona was too good.
Right, Towers of Doom, a battleground where it's very difficult to be able to channel all of the altars at once and have a perfect game, and yet somehow Arizona State playing on fire as they've done throughout this entire event, throughout all of the round of 64 even and onward, showing their prowess at every single battleground of this game and being able to get a perfect score here, keeping 40 hit points on their health and taking out their opponent's score.
40-0, that's just ridiculous. And you know, we went to Infernal Shines for game number 3, and Caladius with the hunt did do some great engagements, and we saw Kier bring in the damage as well. And Arizona State, though, got an early lead. They were able to take out a fort. They were able to take out a keep. They were controlling the shrines the entire game, it felt like, constantly getting those punishers to work out for them. And even though the team fight always looked pretty decent here for UT Arlington, when it came to objectives and controlling everything, it was all about Arizona State. Even when we got to the late game and Dark Blaze really started to look like they were on the cusp of a comeback, Arizona State never faltered.
Right, there were a lot of very good Void Prisons too, where Cladius was on the way in with the hunt, and the Void Prison just was made it to where his team couldn't be there to support him, and in that amount of time he got taken out. And yes, there was a point where Arizona State lost all of their heroes at the core, but they had done irreparable damage there. And even at the point where UT Arlington later on is able to go in and start taking out a keep, opening up their own way to win the game, there was always the threat of a backdoor, and once they started to win the team fight here, then they got in and they were able to finally take out the core and win game number 3 and the series.
Yeah, that victory came down to one hero being taken out, Cladius. When Illidan was taken out, there were still 4 members up, but Arizona State crunched the numbers and they just moved in and won the game.
Guys, this has been such a fantastic night. Artosis, how you feeling before we say goodbye?
Feeling great, man. I think it was a great show, really entertaining games, and I hope that the people at home who maybe saw this for the first time, maybe this is your first time trying out esports, I hope that you enjoyed, and we'll give some of these games a try.
Yeah, for me, it's a big thank you out to the crowd, to you guys for being up here, and of course, our wonderful players for showing up and giving us such an amazing tournament. Thank you all.
I'm so happy that I've been able to share this experience with you guys up at the desk, with you guys in the audience. You've been amazing, and even just been a part of Heroes of the Dorm all the way back from the beginning. It's been such a great time to do that, and congratulations to Arizona State. They did it.
Yeah, one more time, guys. Let's give it up for Arizona State. This has been an amazing day of heroes. Congratulations to our champions for their outstanding victory. And make sure you watch the Heroes of the Dorm tournament recap here on ESPNU Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. So on behalf of Anna, Artosis, Trixler, Gillyweed, and myself, Nick Plott, also known as Tasteless, we will see you on the battleground. Good night. Arizona State just doing too much damage, and it goes down. GG!
Nice try, Noodle. You good. Nice. Yes!
But the court is going down. It's going to be
Arizona State wins. They are
esports, or any sports indeed, to win and
deserve it, man. They put in the work. They came from 2015 to
congratulations to them. An emotional moment here.